Good morning, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Nice to see you guys again. 8 in the house. We have Elusive Dartmoor in the house. Good to see you, brother. And we have Iron Fire Horse as well. Good to see you. And Daryl of Survival. Good to see you. And we also have Nick Miller in the house. Also good to see you. And we have also Guardian Prepping in the house. Also good to see you. Let's see. Guardian. Before I forget things here. Hey, PB. Good to see you, brother. There you go. Now we wait a couple of more minutes and see how many more will join us for this evening's show. And it is a fitting topic for today. Hey, Diana, too. Good to see you. And we have CR in the house. Good to see you, brother. Now I almost forgot to do that, too. Let's see. We do that and that. That's awesome. Now we wait for PV to join. You know the drill. And you know the drill also, Guardian. And you know the drill as well, CR. So maybe I send a link on the regular place for you, CR. And Troy Saturn in the house. Good to see you, brother. Okay, PV's device disconnected for some reason. So, there we go.
Well, yeah. Hello, Shadow. How you doing? Hello, everybody. I don't know what happened.
Well, it's freaking hot, basically. It's like crematoria here.
I'll talk about that in a sec. Why, why that is.
Yeah, we can talk about that in a sec. And we're just waiting for Guardian to join the panel too. And CR too, because it was his suggestion for topic for today. And it's pretty relevant topic for today's stream.
See, whoever's suggesting it is, they should give the opening gambit and speech to say, set the scene and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah. Courtesy Fetita, good to see you and welcome. And I don't want to risk to have the link out for too long because, there's always someone who...
We get some crazies hijacking it.
Oh, yeah. So, how are you doing, PB?
Busy. I've never known myself to be busy like I am this month.
Yeah.
I've been for the last 10 years.
And there we have Guardian.
Guardian, how you doing?
Hey, I hope that everybody's doing well. It's good to see you guys.
Always good to have you aboard, Guardian. Always good to have you aboard.
Yeah.
And then we might have Duriel, Love Survival, and CR coming up.
Yeah. I sent a link on WhatsApp for Dear Love Survival. He usually wants to have it there. And CR, he wants it on Instagram. So I put it on a message for him there. So
Right.
So they are ready to go, basically. But anyway, today's topic is heat waves and how to prepare for them. And this topic is basically pretty huge because there are certain effects on infrastructure. It has some effects on the human body. It has on the environmental level. It has effects.
Yeah.
So it's important to talk about it.
I think the most the reason why it's so damaging and effective as a difference in everyday life is because the average person will sit there comfortably in their own climate and they're acclimatized to their own specific weather. When you get a sudden heat wave come along, you don't get time to adjust. You don't get time to acclimatize at the physical level. So that's debilitating from minute one. And likewise, infrastructure doesn't get to adapt. If we went from winter temperatures, wherever you are, straight the next day. So let's say you go from -5 one day straight to +25 the next day. That immediate adjustment in temperature is going to affect, like you say, all infrastructure and other things too. So it's the rapid onset of these things. Plus also you combine that with if you take a temperate country, and this also applies to cold spells as well. Take a temperate country, for instance, that's not used to getting extremes of heat or extremes of cold, and their budget will probably not extend. If you do a cost-benefit analysis, an airport, for instance, you're not going to suddenly spend millions of dollars, millions of pounds, or wherever you are, on specific equipment to combat heat or snow or ice, anything like this. If it only happens every now and then, or if it only happens 3 or 4 days a year, you'll probably take that hit. So like the rail systems, one of a big effect of a sudden heat wave in a temperate country, for instance, is rail tracks buckle. And and not only that, but most trains now in UK, for instance, electric. So all the electric cables are affected as well. So if people will start, if the owners of these systems start to invest millions of pounds into adjusting for these heat waves, and it doesn't happen for 5, 6, 7, 10 years, then their shareholders are going to start asking questions. So that they're balancing the shareholder scenario, because they're there to make money, against investments. So is it worth it, is the question. Because 9 times out of 10 it probably isn't worth the specific dedicated massive outlay, then they're going to take the hit, and it does happen. And the hit is the fact that critical infrastructure from roads, rail, the power grid, crops, water systems.
I found I searched on Google. I Googled it.
Right.
It's basically the heat wave, and different. There are different, but what's above there on the top of this website is not that interesting. That it's when we get further down here.
Yeah, so that's a big one. Just scroll up a bit there, Shadow. So a thing that I was going to mention on it is obviously, like, you can experience just how there's always been a cooling and a heating of the planet. That's happened, like, and recorded as far back as we can possibly record it. You can see through, if you look at geology points to it as well, where there's been a consistent lowering and increasing of the temperature. I know there's a lot of almost tinfoil hat stuff that's come about it as well, but the large majority of the geologists across the world, and not just geologists, but like most of the time, anybody that really looks at the weather as well, pretty much people that have studied that for a good amount of time will all say that there has been a heating. And I think it's in the last maybe 3 decades that the world has been increasing in percentage by about 1 degree or something like that, which doesn't make a much big of an impact if you think about it just straightforward. But there are, because of our carbon emissions and that as well, and I don't want to go too deep down the rabbit hole of global warming, but if you look at the carbon emissions as well and human activity and the activity that's caused from humanity, there is definitely a difference that's been occurring. And in some places there have been, I mean, you can look at flooding right now. You could Google like flooding and you'd see the adverse of the heating effect. But just quickly, the one thing that I wanted to really point at regarding the heat waves and how do you really deal with them, a person, and if this was all I was able to say through this whole stream and you were just able to like encapsulate kind of what I'm going to mention here, it's basically that across the world, there are people that already are struggling with intense amounts of heat in certain regions. And my wife was mentioning to me earlier how if you look at a lot of the areas, like some of the desert regions as well, Saudi, some of the in the Middle East as well, where they have got to contend consistently with, and in the Sahara Desert as well, what the tribes do there. There are many ways to look at cultures and understand what they've been doing successfully, just based on, people's need for survival in those regions, and replicate what they're not implicating, replicate basically what they're doing out there. And that's one of the best ways that we can see like how to make sure that you can basically survive out there as a group. It is a very interesting topic though. That's just what I wanted to say from now. Hey, by the way, to those people that are joining us in the chat, it's good to see you guys and girls.
Yeah, and here we have the interesting thing. Part of this page is impacts on human health. Here they mention heat illness is a spectrum of disorders due to increased body temperature. It can be caused by either environmental conditions or by exertion. It includes minor conditions such as heat cramps, heat syncope, and heat exhaustion, as well as the more severe condition known as the heat stroke. It can affect any or all anatomical systems. Heat illnesses include heat stroke, heat exhaustion, heat syncope, heat edema, heat cramps, heat rash, heat tetany. Prevention includes avoiding medications that can increase the risk of heat illness, gradual adjustment to heat and sufficient fluids and electrolytes. So it's a lot of information in here. It says here, prevention includes avoiding medications that can increase the risk of heat illnesses. Gradual adjustment to heat and sufficient fluids and electrolytes. Yeah. This section is an excerpt from effects of climate change on human health. Paragraph, heat-related health effects for vulnerable people. Exposure to extreme heat possesses an acute health hazard, especially for people deemed as vulnerable. Vulnerable people with regard to heat illnesses include people with low incomes, minority groups, women in particular, pregnant women, children, older adults, over 65 years old, people with chronic diseases, disabilities, and multiple long-term health conditions. Other people at risk include those living in urban environments due to the urban heat island effect, outdoor workers, and people who take certain prescription drugs. Climate change increases the frequency and severity of heat waves and thus heat stress for people. A 2022 global study found that heat-related deaths increased significantly between 2000 and 2019, particularly in tropical and low-income countries, underscoring the growing health burden from rising temperatures. Human responses to heat stress can include heat stroke and overheating, hyperthermia. Extreme heat is also linked to acute kidney injury, low quality sleep, and complications with pregnancy. Furthermore, it may cause the deterioration of pre-existing cardiovascular and respiratory disease. Adverse pregnancy outcomes due to high ambient temperatures include, for example, low birth weight and preterm birth. Heat waves have also resulted in epidemics of chronic kidney disease. Prolonged heat exposure, physical exertion, and dehydration are sufficient factors for the development of CKD. And then they mention mortality and things like that, and underreporting of fatalities. And here they have put up a heat index for temperature and relatively humidity. So this is NOAA, National Weather Service heat index. So that should be reliable. And the colors: yellow, caution; orange, extreme caution; and darker orange is danger, and red, extreme danger. But the other thing is, when it comes to heat waves, is psychological and sociological effects. Excessive heat causes psychological stress as well as physical stress. This can affect performance. It may also lead to an increase in violent crime. High temperatures are associated with increased conflict between individuals and at this social level. In every society, crime rates go up when temperatures go up. This part is particularly the case with violent crimes such as assault, murder, and rape. In politically unstable countries, high temperatures can exacerbate factors that led to civil war. High temperatures also have a significant effect on income. A study of countries in the United States found that the economic productivity of individual days declines by about 1.7% for each degree Celsius above 15 degrees Celsius or 59 Fahrenheit. So, guys, we stop there for a moment. So we can go through the other parts. So, PV?
Sorry, I was muted. Good old Wikipedia. Anyway, yeah, I've got to say,
Hey, Marianne.
I don't think people realise and we're talking, this is the danger, the sudden rise in temperature to a point in which we're not acclimatized to. That's the danger. I mean, the human body can't, there's a threshold in which we can't cool ourselves down. And that threshold is 35 degrees Celsius or 95 Fahrenheit. Beyond that, you can't cool yourself down unaided. You need some sort of intervention. Now, I don't think people realise that heat waves are I Googled this earlier, it's the leading cause of weather-related death globally. Natural weather-related death. So we're talking up to just short of 500,000 deaths a year as a direct result of heat waves. So it's nothing to trivialize. And yeah, I mean, you mentioned there heat stroke, heat exhaustion. There's other dangers there thrown in with that as well.
Yeah.
Sunburn as well, not to be taken too lightly. You know, in some instances, you'll get burnt before you even realise it. Immediate implications, you know, first, second degree burns best, and burns through touching hot surfaces as well. You know, I've been to various places where it gets that hot, you wouldn't touch any bare metal because it's just literally you're going to scald yourself.
Frying hot.
Exactly. I've been from. God, sorry, Guardian.
No. I was just going to add on to what you're saying there as well. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen this before. I've been to places where I've been from Death Valley through to the intensity of Afghanistan, where it reached up to 50 degrees Celsius, and it was just absolutely. I mean, put it into context. I mean, I went from UK in March. So relatively cool, 14 degrees Celsius. Doors open on the aircraft, stepped out onto the runway steps, the aircraft steps in Afghanistan, in Kabul. It was 43 degrees Celsius. I thought, Jesus, how am I going to actually live and work in that temperature, let alone do anything else? It was absolutely blistering. And that was the acclimatization factor. It normally takes up to 2 weeks to acclimatize normally. But we'll talk about this coming up. There's various things you can do to keep yourself cool and keep yourself working, keep things ticking over, keep yourself sustainable, etc., etc.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Mark.
What's going on?
It's a hot topic today, Mark.
Yeah, I know. I was throwing all kinds of fun CR jokes in the when you put it up there.
Hey, good to see you, Chef. Welcome.
Hey, thanks, GP.
Just quickly, so something that we learned when we were quite a bit younger that actually works quite a lot. Well, obviously, one of those things, just making sure that you have small amounts of water consistently, and then also running water over your wrists, because obviously there's quite big arteries within your wrists as well that lead through the rest of your body. Running coolish water over your wrists and also over your ankles and around your neck can also decrease your average body temperature by quite a bit. So that's just one of those really big and useful tips when it does get too hot, kind of what to do. And so legitimately, if you've got a basin or something like that, I know that you're not always going to have access to basin if you've got to use a stream in survival situations or whatever the case may be. But basically just making sure that you've got a coolish amount of water that's going directly over both wrists. And yeah, I've been doing it since I was really young, and it's so helpful. It's one of the best things that you can do. And you also get, as it gets hotter as well, you'll also start getting headaches really easily and migraines. And then one of those best things that you can do is just sip little bits of water and also put a wet cloth behind the back of your neck and just draped over your shoulders, preferably a largish wet cloth with a good amount of water soaked in on that, and it can really help a hell of a lot. And obviously just make sure that you move slowly, stay in the shade, breathe in and out steadily as well. There's a couple of good tips through that, but legitimately that whole water over the wrists and over the feet is fantastic.
We used to back on the neck was a favorite of mine. But I mean, when it gets to a certain temperature, you literally are playing catch up all the time. You just cannot hydrate yourself sufficiently. You have to just keep drinking and drinking and drinking, and you think you're drinking enough, but you're not.
Now, if you're not peeing, you're not drinking enough.
In some instances, you literally can't drink enough to catch up, and at the moment you start to feel thirsty, it's too late. You're on the dehydration route. But you've got to keep hold of that water as well. You've got to enable your body to keep hold of that water, not just let it pass through you. And that's through the introduction of sodium and salts, yeah, yep. and your electrolytes. because they will rapidly dissipate as
I know,
you
friend
work.
of mine taught me a long time ago, when you're super hot and super thirsty, don't grab that bottle of 1 degree Celsius water because it's so cold. You need to drink water that's just below your body temperature, like, 60, 70 degrees. So when you drink it, your blood vessels don't constrict, and then you just don't absorb it. And when you drink not warm water, but not freezing cold water, when you're super hot and thirsty, you can literally, especially if you're dehydrated, you can feel the water almost traveling through your bloodstream because your body can absorb it much faster than if it's cold water and everything just constricts.
Yeah, you got a point there.
And you get a cramp too. You drink cold water when you're super thirsty and hot, you will cramp
Oh, yeah.
up. Cramping is because the cold water is constricting everything and shrinking it in your stomach, and it hurts. And it doesn't do anything. It takes longer for it to get in your body.
Exactly.
So, I mean, there are heat indexes for people to look at if you got the information flows to still rolling through. But, I mean, if we look at infrastructure before anything else, I mean, you got a supply chain issue potentially looming as well, because roads, asphalt roads will start to melt. We've seen this a couple of years ago in UK, which had a big impact. The actual roads were melting.
Yeah.
The rail tracks start to buckle. Power lines for the trains start to sag. The conventional grid gets now. This is probably the biggest threat, on a wide scale thing, is the grid.
Yeah.
The grid gets stressed. You get stressed through the strain on the load, basically, because everyone's got air conditioners on,
Exactly.
the fans are on, and all this sort of stuff, and power lines start to sag. So the grid gets put on severe strain, and if that goes, then it just compounds the thing even more. And that's what happened in 2013. In 2013, there was a big heat wave that hit Argentina, and they only realized their failings after a couple of days, because over the previous decades, the power grid, there was lack of investment. It was slowly, it was just coping. They were on the verge of blackouts here and there. And then the heat wave hit, and it put extra stress on the grid, and the power grid went down.
Yeah.
And from an SHTF prepper perspective, this is sort of the knock-on effects that people should be considering and looking at, having contingencies for them preps, because the power grid went down. So you've got grid down. It wasn't a massive long duration, but it could have been. You've got the heat wave. You've got all the vulnerable people. You've got elderly, the kids, and anyone on with some sort of not disability, but anyone who's vulnerable is at risk. And then what happened in Argentina as well, riots started to break out, social unrest, because people were venting their anger at the government for the lack of investment, the mismanagement of the grid system, and all this sort of stuff. So you then got, a three event SHTF system hitting at once. And where and so it's bad enough having the heat wave, it's bad enough having the grid going down. Then you've got people fighting with each other and having riots against the government because of their ineffectiveness, and it led to a state of emergency. So when people look at their preps, think outside the box and consider the lock-on effects. And we haven't even spoke about fires yet. If we look at the Mediterranean a couple of years ago, wildfires, not just the Mediterranean, the wildfires in Australia, Canada, every year, America, every year in certain places. And, then leads, it might be grassland fires, forest fires, but the knock-on effect with...
Hey, dear love, good to see you, brother.
with
Good evening, all.
the trade on those, the commercialization failure of those systems, which have been affected, the forestry systems, etc. And you've got crop fires as well. So you've then got the effect of, or the longer term effect, which will trickle down later, of increased prices through because of crop failures and stuff.
Yeah. Well, now we are really talking on the next section, and that is impacts on societies, reduced economic outputs. That means the heat waves will shrink the global economy, and that means reduced agricultural outputs. So,
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't really. I mean, reduce the world's agricultural output. I wouldn't agree with that so much, because heat waves are generally localized, and it's either going to be northern hemisphere or southern hemisphere at any one time. So there is a bit of a buffer there. But on the local level, yes.
Yeah. Reduced farmed animals, they need water, and if you have livestock and you have a real big heat wave, you will don't have enough water, so your livestock will be suffering. So you will probably lose most of your livestock you have.
Yeah, probably human-owned livestock, farmed animals.
Yeah.
I mean, generally, animals have got a lot more tolerance to heat waves than humans. But if you've got humans keeping cows, chickens, goats, pigs, etc., then they're controlling the the animals' welfare.
Yeah.
Which then falls back to water provision and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and as you mentioned earlier, PB, it was infrastructural damages. Heat waves cause roads and highways to buckle and melt, water lines to burst, and power transformers to detonate, causing fires. Heat wave can also damage railways by buckling and kinking rails.
Yeah.
This can slow down or delay traffic. It can even lead to cancellation of service when rails are too dangerous to traverse by trains. Power outages, as you said, the people will use their air conditioning, and that will draw a lot of power. So yes, the grid will go down.
AC uses a lot of power. A lot of power.
Oh yeah. And the impacts on the environment is wildfires, as you mentioned, floods, wild animals on land.
Well, hang on. What did it say about floods there? It's a funny one.
Heat waves can also contribute to flooding because hot air is able to carry more moisture. Heat waves may be followed by extreme rainfall, especially in mid-latitude regions.
So that's when the heat wave sort of starts to dissipate.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we've had a bit of a heat wave here in the last couple of weeks. It's nothing too drastic, but it's been out of the ordinary, and that's what we're expecting thunderstorms now.
Yeah.
Right.
And then they may have a little section about wild animals on land. Researchers have predicted that roughly 10 to 40% of all land vertebrate species will be affected by heat waves by 2099, depending on the amount of future greenhouse gas emissions. Heat waves present an additional form of stress and evolutionary pressure for species that already deal with habitat loss and climate change. Species have a thermal range of tolerance that describes the temperature where they perform best. Temperature conditions that are outside of this range may experience decreased fitness and the inability to reproduce. The species with sufficient genetic variation will be able to ensure some individuals can survive frequent days of high temperatures in the future. And they mentioned the oceans as well. So marine heat waves may cause mass mortality in fish populations, especially for species that are better adapted to cooler temperatures. Species that have adapted to warmer temperatures may expand their range during a heat wave. These invasive species may outcompete the native species that experience higher mortality during a heat wave, which disrupts ecosystem functioning. Marine heat waves have also been correlated with negative impacts on foundation species such as coral and kelp. So,
Yeah. Did it mention? Oh, yeah. So water pipes as well. Water pipes can burst quite easily because as the soil dries,
yeah,
you get ground movement, which can damage underground water pipes.
yeah,
And then obviously on top of that, which is probably the most obvious, is water shortages due to reservoirs being depleted,
hey Vanessa, good to see you.
and aquifers starting to run low as well. Not so much the aquifers, but definitely the reservoirs. I mean, this all goes back to then the thing about a heat wave, especially a prolonged heat wave,
Yeah,
brings out all the failings in the investments of a country in the last 20, 30, 40, 50 years. I mean, we went into a where I am at the moment in Yorkshire. We were the first county in Britain to have a hosepipe ban, which is farcical anyway. And I delved into what was happening. No new reservoirs in Britain have been built in the last since 1950s, 60s, I think. No new reservoirs. No, there's been no investment. Yet one of the biggest causes of water shortages is the actual water companies, the leaks in the water systems, not putting the investment back into the water company infrastructure. They're putting a disproportionate amount of money to their investors, all the investor framework and the shareholders, as opposed to putting it back into the actual system and providing people water. And you just it's a multi-layered, system that's slowly failing, and it takes one little thing like, or one stressor, should I say, like a heat wave to bring it down. You compound all that with a population which is increasing so quickly, especially in UK, that it just can't keep up. Where's all the extra water coming from? We're seeing new towns, new housing estates being built the size of a large town all over the place. No new schools, no new hospitals, no new water provision, no new sewage provision. And it's one of these extra little stressors that can it makes the system more fragile when something like this comes along. You'll also find that if the people living in cities, the cities will be a lot generally hotter than the countryside, rural areas, and smaller towns, because you got not only it's a concrete area as well, so the buildings retain a lot more heat than the green lands and the fields.
Yeah,
you got a concentration of people, vehicles, buildings, and all the other sort of machinery and stuff that goes with it. So they'll probably be 3 to 4 to 5 degrees hotter than the rural areas.
And if you're living in the countryside and you have a house made of wood, that house would be much cooler than if you build a house of bricks, basically.
Well, we go to insulation. So insulation versus airflow is key. So if people are considering looking for heat waves, and you will probably see more frequent heat waves as time goes on, it's all about, at the end of the day, when it comes down to a personal unit level, your family level, this sort of thing, It's about regulating your own body temperature, keeping yourself cool to avoid heat-related injuries, like you said earlier.
Yeah.
So, yeah, people have got to look at that sort of thing.
Welcome, Eddie Holt. Good to see you.
And of course, I think we touched on it just now as well. You know, you got the increased fire risk. So, if you know you're in an area that's prone to heat waves every year, or if you know that there's a heat wave in the pipeline because the weather forecast has said there's one coming, then you've got to look at fire control, fire mitigation. So, from out of your immediate area, if you're in a rural area, look at 50 meters out, plus get rid of everything that's going to potentially go tinder dry. If the grass is long, you can maybe consider cutting it and putting all the cuttings, out of the way somewhere, getting rid of all combustible material in the vicinity that will spread the fire. Make sure your firefighting gear is working, making sure it's in date, make sure it's pressurized and all this sort of stuff. You may even have a sprinkler system on your house if you're in an area, for forest fires and stuff like that. You're talking expensive stuff there.
Yeah.
It also puts pressure on your existing systems, not nationally, not infrastructure. I'm talking about your personal sort of prep systems.
Yeah.
So, you've got your solar panels. Solar panels are okay up to a certain temperature. And sort of like the standard benchmark temperature for a solar panel to work efficiently is around 25 degrees Celsius. That's the standard benchmark ceiling for a solar panel. We're working roughly on about 20% efficiency, which is the standard. 20 to 25% is just like the standard for a solar panel efficient conversion. Every Celsius above that mark, every 1 degree Celsius rise above 25 degrees Celsius, you start to lose 0.5% of efficiency on that panel.
Yeah.
I mean, 0.5% doesn't sound a lot, but say, we're in a heat wave now, so at 25 degrees, say the heat wave's at 30 degrees, it's 5 degree difference. You lost 2.5% difference in your efficiency there. That's a lot, considering the average solar panel works between 20% and 25% efficiency anyway. So you're going to get a drop in output. So those people who are relying on solar as a contingency for a heat wave or grid down, whatever, then that's something to consider. That's why if anyone sees solar panels that are installed anywhere, there's always an air gap underneath it to aid the airflow that go underneath it to cool them down a bit. It's something to consider. And likewise, if you're talking about a solar system, inverters are sensitive to heat. They're really sensitive to heat, and you've got to have an inverter as part of a solar electricity provision system anyway, to convert 12 volt to 240, for instance. And inverters run hot anyway. So a rise in temperature, the fans will be running all the time on that inverter. And I've seen it myself, and it just puts extra stress, reduces the lifespan of that inverter all the time. So you've got to think about keeping your systems cool to keep things going as well. And of course, like we said in previous editions, the freezer, the fridge, critical systems. You lose that freezer, you lost everything in there. He mentioned it earlier. People get agitated quicker when the heat goes up. Tempers start to flare and stuff like this.
Yeah.
Very true. Very true. You just got to be in traffic jam on a hot day to look at the behaviour of some people.
I can go to myself, and I know when it's hot as it is now, I or even over 12 degrees Celsius, I get I get cranky basically because
Yeah.
I have less patience. And that is from
Hey,
how
Uncle
I
Al, how you
react.
doing? Yeah, definitely. Agitation is a key thing, and a lot of So what can you do? So you got to, if you know the heat wave coming, or you've got equipment in place in case of a heat wave, then you can do various things. You can insulate and shade. So insulate yourself inside the house. You can get to the central core of the house, doors and windows open to provide some airflow going through. You can put wet blankets up at doorways, wet blankets up at windows. That provides a cooling effect. So it has like a fridge effect where the evaporation cools it down a bit. That will do, that can make a difference of 3 to 5 degrees. Block the sunlight out, stop the sunlight coming in and, heating things up, having a greenhouse type of effect. You want to think about ventilation, getting as much ventilation there, much wind cycling through as possible. If there is a wind, if you're unlucky, then you're not going to get any wind and it'll be stifling, absolutely stifling. But artificial induced wind, you can get fans, get the fans blowing just to create some airflow. Although there's a bit of a debate about this. I've heard people argue about the speed of a fan, believe it or not. Central America once, Central America in an ops room, and these officers were arguing whether the fan on the ceiling, they were both agitated because it was hot,
Yeah.
was going too fast or too slow. One was saying if it goes too fast, it will heat the room up because of the way the air. I do a lot of crap. Anyway, the other one was saying if you put the fan on slower, anyway, you get the picture. But
Yeah.
bored people in a room when it's hot is dangerous. So fans and coolers, there's plenty of them around. I mean, the technology now is great.
Yeah.
We're no longer paying people to fan us with a big feather, or you don't have to have just a ceiling fan or anything like this. You can have portable battery fans, take around where you can have these little fans that go around your neck these days, USB chargeable, battery powered neck fans. They look like a pair of headphones that someone's put around their neck. Apparently they're very effective. You can get like mini cooling units. They're not air conditioning units, but they're like almost like a 1 foot square box. You fill it full of water, and it's got a fan in it, and that provides a cooler burst of air.
Yeah.
Obviously, air conditioners, but super expensive. Not only to run, but to buy. They're really expensive.
Yeah, they are.
And they take a lot of power. The wattage on those things is quite large. I mean, my mum lives in the Mediterranean, and even she can't get used to the heat every year, and she can't afford an air conditioning unit. She relies on fans, and she just melts every year. It's just horrible.
The problem with an air conditioner is that when the temperature reach a certain level, the air conditioner will not work at all.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you're probably better off jumping in your car and putting the aircon on. Yeah. driving around the block, seeing your friends with the air conditioner on until it cools down a bit. But I mean, you can get these. We were issued with these net coolers in Afghanistan. Afghanistan, it went from 40 to 50 degrees Celsius. Like I said, it was just, I've never experienced it. It's absolutely horrendous. And these they're like gel-filled tubes. You put them around your neck like a tie. you obviously make it wet, and it's got an evaporation effect on it, and that cools you down. It makes you a bit more comfortable.
Yeah.
But basically, limit your movements. Don't go out. Restrict your movements. Time to, you know what jobs have got to be done, etc., etc. Save those jobs until the early morning or late evening when it's cooled down a bit. Otherwise, restrict your movements and just sit there and wait for it to cool down in the evening. Yeah, I mean, my deployments abroad to these mega hot places,
Excuse me.
any exercise was done early in the morning, say 4 or 5 in the morning. It's coolest time. There'll be limited movement apart from essentials in the daytime. I mean, going back to Afghanistan again, when it touched was 48 degrees Celsius, it was that hot. People were running from building to building where it was cooler because it was so hot out. It was just unbelievable. Really was unbelievable. But that's a bit of an extreme. That is, yeah.
I've experienced like 45, I think, in Cyprus. I was saying to my father, how do you guys live with this heat? Like 45. I'm like, wow. Really, this is I wasn't used to that.
Yeah, I was saying earlier, there's a tolerance on the body. Physiologically, we can't, when it gets above 35 degrees Celsius, the human body can't cool itself down on its own. You have to have intervention. So, you'll find locals and stuff like that sat in the shade. Yeah. I mean, the best thing I've found is to sit in a shaded area where there's a nice breeze blowing with a little spray bottle and a fan at my best. And then you just quickly spray yourself. That sort of simulates sweat. Wind cools you down, you're in the shade. And you just keep drinking and drinking and drinking. You just can't drink enough. Literally, you can't drink enough. You're always playing catch up.
A friend called me the other day, and do you know how high his temperature was on his yard in the sun? 39 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, it's believable. Yeah, especially in
degrees Celsius here in Sweden.
Yeah, well, right. Yeah, that's unusual.
Yeah.
And like it's
like crematoria.
That was saying.
You can't adjust, like crematoria.
You literally you're not. If you're going straight into that, you're climatized at all. That's a big shock to the system. You see.
It's a total shock for me anyway. I mean, I'm not made for these high temperatures. I'm made for cold temperatures.
Yeah, I don't do.
I could fill up the bathtub with ice cubes and lay in a pair of shorts on top of the ice and have a nice cool day for 2 or 3 hours to cool down.
Right. So there's a YouTube channel called Desert Sun 02. I'll put a link on there in a minute. And he did a series. He did an excellent video. It was about making ice. I've mentioned this before. This bloke had a low wattage ice making machine, which produces a couple of pounds of ice every hour, which is quite a significant amount. Considering 4 or 5 hours time, you're going to get quite a lot of ice. So he got a low wattage ice making machine, 80 to 100 watt solar panel. Connected it to a battery, connected to a small inverter, which was just sufficient enough to run the ice maker machine, taking into account startup surges and stuff like this. And at the end of the day, he had this massive. It showed you the amount of ice this thing had made throughout the day, and you see, can you imagine what you could do with that in this heat? And it's self-sustaining, powered by the sun. Excellent idea. It's if that's your contingency, then you've got to get all this kit in. You've got to buy all the kit, and you've got to test it out and make sure it works. But like I said, you know, back to the national sort of system, it's all a cost benefit analysis weighing up the odds. How likely are you to get a heat wave every year, and is it worth you forking out all this money on this stuff for the heat wave that may never happen next year?
Yes, true. They are quite rare over here, but the one thing is when they happen, what I do notice is that the shortage of electrolytes in Cyprus, you can buy them at the sweet shop. There's like sachets, sort of orange flavors, different type of flavors. I was like, wow, these would be great for a bug out bag or everyday carry.
Yep.
But they got to sell by date or use by date or whatever, so they expire. So you buy a load and you think, wow, you know, I'll keep them, but the following year you might not have a heat wave. So, you know, it's not easy to store that kind of stuff. And like I said, over here you don't sort of find them everywhere. You maybe find them online, electrolyte sort of powder.
Oh yeah, no, you can get easy enough. The B&M own bargains, places like that. They sell either diorolite, which is basically if you have the shits or anything like that, you're crapping out.
Oh, sorry, my boots were late. Sorry about that.
You know, you're starting to crap out all your electrolytes, salts, fluids. So diorolite is a good alternative. You've also got oral rehydration salts, which is exactly the same as diorolite, but 10 times cheaper.
Right.
But yeah, like you said, Uncle Al says there, you know, old school tang and salt. You know, there's a specific formula. You can just make your own rehydration solution using water, sugar, some salt. If anyone doesn't know what the formula is, look on the UN website. They got a good article on that as to what measures you put in. Basic measures, and these are the measures that will save lives, really. And they have done. It's proven fact. You know, this sort of thing has been implemented in hot places in Africa, and it saved lives. So simple: salt and sugar, water. Make your own. Or if you want to be a bit more elaborate, you can have some for your EDC or your bug out bag, and you can get some dedicated to high intensity exercise. So we're talking sports type rehydration solutions.
I buy some of them sometimes. ISO or
they play on the words of isotonic, which is a bit of a marketing term these days now. But people have got to look into just do a bit of research into the quantities, the ratios, salts, sugars, carbohydrates, minerals, etc., and they'll soon discover which ones are the best and which ones are crap. You know, I was getting it earlier with the fact that you got to, you don't want to keep drinking and just letting that water just exit your system. You got to manage your body to keep hold of that water. So these oral rehydration salts will do that. They'll keep hold of that water more effectively than just pissing it out. And likewise, the obvious, wear a hat if you're going to go out in direct sunlight, or umbrella is a good alternative. Loose clothing, it's breathable. It's not rocket science really. Yes, you can wear shorts. Yes, you can wear t-shirts or a vest or no top on at all. But you got to weigh up the odds then of insects versus sunburn risk and all this sort of stuff. So it depends what environment you're in. You could be in a forest or somewhere else.
And Fire with Dr. Ninja Turtle, he has a question. Has anyone tried the solar fans in the floppy hat brim? I want to buy one of those for use in the yard.
Solar hats in the floppy hat. I haven't seen one of them. No, you have to.
The solar fans.
Ninja Turtle, you'll have to put a link onto some sort of device that you're talking about. That'll be interesting to see.
I've seen something like that before. You've got all kinds of gadgets these days with caps and lights and solar panels on them. And
I found that if in doubt as to any sort of product, go to Temu, and they would have thought about it. It'll be on there.
Well, yeah.
Probably a third of the price as well.
Copied everything.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the sort of basic things people can do. Things you obviously got to think about safety as well. So if you're walking around with flip flops or thongs, people call them, or toeless shoes or sandals or anything like that. Norfolk UK Prepper says they're on Amazon. I'll have to have a look at those. So people walking around in sandals, flip flops, or anything like that, then it comes with. It sounds obvious, but not.
Guys,
not
I need to go down and help my wife carry up some
no worries.
bags. I'll be back in a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't trust flip flops in London. I just don't feel safe. I can't wear them in the street because.
Oh, that's what I mean. Yeah.
I mean, if I was in Greece on a beach or in a village in Greece, fair enough, But here, I just can't. Around the house, maybe I could wear flip flops and maybe at push, maybe to the local shop across the road. But you got to be very careful these days.
They're a good idea until you either stub your toe or someone steps on your foot.
Yeah.
and then you got a broken toe, a cut toe, and etc.
Also, the noise gets on my nerves as well. Flop, flop, flop. I wonder if that's why they call them flip flop, because they make the sound.
Yeah, flip flops. Yeah.
Yeah, I've experienced all sorts. I mean, today it was raining really hard, like through the morning, through the early hours. You could just hear it. I was dreaming rain. It was raining right through the night. Woke up, I thought, wow, that'd be a good video. Get your waterproofs on, get out there. And, why is the world experiencing all these funny types of weathers? That's a good question. I don't want to get in trouble by a chef now, so I'll
I'm keeping an eye on you there, dear love.
all right. It's good. I'm glad. It's good. It's good. I need a management team.
We're all talking about heat and dehydration. It's 30 degrees C here on my deck. I got a fan blowing on me. I'm drinking an iced tea and eating a pizza that just came out of the oven. So,
who can explain why a cup of tea is okay and it cools you down? Is that true or is that a lie, PB?
I'm drinking iced tea.
You're drinking iced tea, but there's some people say that if you drink a tea,
I'm
cool you down. I was like, huh? How does that happen?
Yeah, exactly. I want to know that. I don't. Well, it's where your body's got its own systems to cool and heat things up. It's like if you go on a run in freezing cold temperatures, your body is adapted to warm that air up by the time it actually reaches your lungs.
Right.
There are obvious extremes. So I used to hear people say, "Oh, I'm going to freeze my lungs because it's too cold." Likewise, your body will compensate to a certain extent with the other end of the spectrum. So if you're eating, if you're drinking hot tea on a hot day, I don't know about anyone else. The best of times I'll get a tea flush.
Yeah, tea flush.
So it might be a good idea to get some iced tea. I'd rather have an ice cold drink in the cool weather than the really hot one.
I was in Argentina in the late 90s. I think it was 98. And my girlfriend said, let's go to a tea house. I said, tea house? It's like boiling hot. Tea house. In Argentina, you got tea house. Because over there they drink mate. They drink this other kind of herb.
Yeah, mate tea. Yeah.
Mate. I mean, I did get used to it in the end, but
tastes like faggot.
Bitter. But we went to these these little villages, and it was like an English house in the middle of Argentina. It's beautiful, and it was had like a tea room. You could they had scones. I was like, wow, you guys I just kind of got this fad where they just go and have a cup of tea and like a tea. There's a few of them in Argentina. I couldn't believe it.
I've just seen. I'm just looking at the picture that Norfolk UK Prepper has posted there. It's the wide brim hat with the inbuilt fans. Surely those fans are heavy enough to droop the wide brim hat. Oh, wait, what's wrong with a good old sombrero?
Look at that. Well, you can even store your food under that hat. You can get it dangling, a bit of, I don't know, bit of chorizo or something like that, a bit of cheese. No, I'm only kidding, guys.
So, I mean,
get a hammock under there.
So that's the basics, what people can do. And it seems pretty obvious, but people don't get this stuff in until lastminute.com. They won't charge their little fan up until lastminute.com, etc., etc. Thing is, what can we do beforehand in order to prepare this sort of thing? So personally, what I would do, I would stock up on extra water if you knew there's a heat wave coming.
Yep.
I'd make sure I've got the electrolytes in, the oral rehydration salts in, or the ability to make my own by salt and sugar. Decide what sort, you might want to adjust the way you eat. You might want to go towards salads, which have got more water in the food as well.
Yeah.
You might want to start to avoid, and dehydrated foods, for instance, because if you rehydrate it and you haven't quite got it right.
Don't drink fizzy drinks to quench your thirst. Whatever you do, don't drink sugary, fizzy, horrible drinks.
No.
Actually, that's a good point. Actually, when back in the 80s, anyone who flaked out on a run that required hospitalization, in the hospital, they would give them flat Coke to drink. Not fizzy, but flat Coke.
Yeah.
Which is a bit bizarre. I haven't really delved into it since then, but that's just reminding me about that.
Yeah, I don't know too much about that, but through personal experience, you think, when I was younger, I was in sort of Greece, and it was really, really hot. I was like, wow, it's really hot. And I was like, I need to quench my thirst. And I tried things like a Sprite. That was quite unusual. I didn't really know about Sprite. It was like lemonade with some lemon in it. It's really quite nice. But you found that a little while later, you're like, there's something wrong. I kind of felt funny. Kind of felt a little bit drained, to be honest. Then just water is the best. I think water is the really best. Really, I saw someone in Euston Station. He's like walking back. It's really hot and humid in the station. He's walking back with a Pepsi Cola and looking really proud of himself. I was like,
yeah. Well, the key thing is to get fluids inside of you, and the baseline is water. Most of these fizzy drinks have got caffeine in, stuff like this, and you want to
caffeine will dehydrate you.
Yeah, caffeine, taurine, and all the other things.
So
you want to avoid that sort of caffeinated drink, and
Yeah.
You said they took the fizz out of the drink and gave the people a flat cola.
Yeah, flat Coca-Cola, yeah.
You kind of wonder why they would do something. Any idea, Chef?
Yeah. I was just my back growing up. I was born in the early '60s, and my mom had a jar of Coke syrup. It was just Coca-Cola syrup, but it wasn't the new Coca-Cola syrup. This was, had real cane sugar in it and like 3 ingredients. That was it. And when I had a sore throat, she'd mix it with a little warm water, and that's what I drank, and it was great. Now, the Coke, unless you get it down in Mexico where they still use cane sugar, and it only has 4 or 5 ingredients. You buy it in the States or some other places now, it's got like 80 ingredients.
Does flat Coca-Cola aid you in rehydration?
I don't know if it did or not, because it was water.
Black Coca-Cola can help with rehydration.
It probably did to some extent, because it's water, and the cola syrup, which was just sugar, and I forget what the ingredient for the cola flavoring is, and it's a natural plant that's just processed, and then something else in there. But I think just the water would help you, and sugar in the cola would also help you with your electrolytes, probably. Not pure electrolytes, but it would probably help you better than just water, or better than a fizzy Coke that you just bought at the store.
Yeah, I've just asked AI if it was if there's anything to it, and she said no. But so I don't know. I want to investigate anyway. Definitely.
Yeah.
The key thing is with
my mom didn't use it for rehydration. She used it for sore throats.
right. The key thing is to get fluids in there and keep the fluids going. Keep a monitor of your urine and.
Yeah, then she probably wondered why I couldn't go to sleep after that because there was caffeine in there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Go to sleep. I don't know, Mom. You just gave me like 2 tablespoons of pure Coke syrup. What do you expect?
The other thing is to avoid alcohol as well.
Definitely.
Yeah,
that should be a given. You know, people should know this. It's basic stuff in it, really. So. Yeah, you know, so beforehand, people should consider how they're going to cook and what they're going to eat as well. You may want to go to, you know, salad type foods, or if you've got a load of preps lined up and you're having to delve into those preps, you may want to choose maybe cans over dehydrated or the wet food pouch type scenarios.
That's funny you mentioned dehydrated, freeze-dried food. In the summertime, yeah, I won't touch my freeze-dried fruits.
Yeah.
Because, as soon as you put it in your mouth, it just sucks the moisture right out of your head.
Yeah.
And then it's like, yeah, you can chew them crispy. They taste great, but they definitely don't help rehydrate you. But if you're going to, I'll eat some, but if I have like, a big glass of water or something with it, okay, that's fine. I'll dip it in the water, let it rehydrate in the water really fast. And then it just tastes like a floppy apple slice, but the flavor's good.
Yeah, exactly. People may want to, even to relocate temporarily. A couple of years ago, we had a big heat wave. We was actually on our boat at the time. We just picked a nice spot under the trees and just stayed there for a week. And the people were just coming past and they thought, sod this. And they just joined us, And it was literally from sunrise to sunset. Everyone was just out on this side, sat there just waiting for the sun to go down. And it was a case of underneath the trees, bit of breeze, spray bottle, and you just couldn't do anything. It was that you just literally just you either stay outside and swat the mosquitoes and the bugs and stuff like that, or you're inside in a metal boat, which is like an oven. So, and other people, heard the stories of people going into the woods and just camping. People going into, people can seek out the cool areas of the city, like libraries, swimming pools, leisure centres, and stuff like that. Let them, go to their area. They're generally quite cool anyway, and you're not paying the bill for all the air conditioning systems that are running. So, or go to the local swimming pool, start swimming. If you know of any caves nearby, sounds funny, but caves are nice and cool.
Yeah.
You might want to get in there. It depends on the extent of the system. Or people in Greece, Cyprus, places like that, and Mediterranean. A lot of locals actually. And one of my aunties, one of them, she every summer, because it gets that hot, she goes into the mountains. She rents a house for a couple of months in the hills, so because it's a lot cooler. So people may want to consider relocating to a cooler area.
No, we're not really talking about. So where I'm currently at here in central East Coast of the United States, like right now it's 30 Celsius. The humidity is about 90 to 95%. So it sucks.
Yeah.
But if I go down to like Arizona and the temperature is 100 degrees, but the humidity is only like 20%, it doesn't feel as hot. However, you dehydrate so much faster because your sweat just literally evaporates as it's coming out of your skin. So it doesn't have a chance to cool you down.
Yeah, I mean, I went to Vegas a few years back, and it was that hot. You didn't realize the danger was you didn't realize at what point you were starting to get dehydrated in terms of sweat, because as soon as you sweated, it was evaporating and gone. you'd think you were walking around in a wet t-shirt, but it was just dry. You know, the good thing about the Vegas, they had their crap sorted out. I mean, there were walkways and entrances to buildings and stuff, and now the misting systems going on. No, that was
Lovely.
a really nice thing.
Yeah, they do that at a lot of the fun parks, you know, with the roller coasters and that.
Right.
In the summertime, they have the big fans with these. It's like a pressure washer with a superfine nozzle on it. It just shoots a mist in front of the fan.
Yeah.
And back and forth just to keep everybody cool while you're standing in that cattle corral line for an hour and a half waiting for a 30-second ride on a roller coaster.
Yeah. That's why from now on, when I sit in the shadow, I've got a little spray bottle with me. That's where I got my idea from for that. Makes sense, definitely. And people, you know, they might even want to relocate, and you know, not just themselves, but their preps and all their essential items that potentially going to get heat damage into the cellar or a basement if they got a basement. You know, a lot cooler down there. I knew a guy on a boat, 86 years old, and when it got really hot, he used to sleep on the floor because on a boat, the first 2.5 foot is underneath the water line, and there's at least a 10-degree difference between there and the ceiling. So that's what he used to do. Makes sense, I suppose. Yeah. I mean, the things that heat wave, the sudden onset of a heat wave, is so many things on a personal level it can affect. You know, if you're operating, and plus the fact, you know, if you're combining a heat wave with any other sort of SHTF event, if you're already in SHTF or something's happened, a disaster or anything like this, then you get a heat wave on top of that. You know, you potentially operating systems that are temperature sensitive. Is that Mrs. Shadow?
It was the missus.
Oh yeah, say hello to them. So you know, people might be operating radio equipment, which may be prone to overheating. The fans will be working overtime. It's putting extra strain on the system. So consider, you know, a cooling sort of solution for that.
Already have me, but you need another fan.
Medication. The medication is a good one. Insulin is not very tolerant to heat. So if anyone's got any insulin stored, hey Bob, you know, if anyone's got any insulin stored in their fridge, then that will become their priority.
Yeah.
If the fridge goes down, their insulin is at risk.
Yeah.
So insulin's a big one. So on the prep side of it, antibiotics, if anyone's got any antibiotics stored, which you know, a lot of people do have, and it's one of the key essentials that people think about long-term SHTF. Antibiotics are, you know, heat sensitive and they're prone to damage from the heat. Likewise, many painkillers.
Hey, Bob.
Hey, Bob.
Hey, guys.
Many painkillers like aspirin, acetaminophen, ibuprofen, all this sort of stuff. They're sensitive to heat and it will degrade them a lot quicker. So you want to be looking at that and make sure you're not putting it in a moisture-rich environment and stuff like this. And, you know, the management of preps is quite essential. All the way through to your first aid kit. Little bandages, little plasters, band-aids. They become less sticky and stuff like this to the extent where they can be all ruined. So it goes down. You know, the cascade system goes down all the way to the little things, which sounds as if you can get away with, you know, a bit of loss, but if you need a band-aid or if you need your antibiotics or you need your insulin, then concerns are going to start to get raised a bit more sharpish, you know. So, and then looking at things like fuel degrades a lot quicker when it gets really hot. If you're on the verge of getting, you know, if you've got a diesel system and you've got diesel stored for a long time, and the stabilization, you may have forgot to put a stabilizer or anything like that, then the fungal layer in between the water layer and the fuel can escalate really quick in the heat. So you might find engine systems which you've just sprung into life after a long period of inactivity may not be working at their best because the filters are getting clogged and the engine system's getting clogged. So there's a lot to think about on many levels, and that's why you're just sat there melting, waiting for the sun to go down because it's too hot to move. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Bob will probably give you a more recent sort of description of things going from where you are to the Philippines and into sudden heat and stuff like this.
Oh, yeah, that's a fact. Well, I give my body a couple of days to adjust. I'm to the point now where I can really pretty much suck it up most of the time, but the first 2 days are a little rough. I sit in front of a fan and only go outside in the morning and just kind of hibernate during the hottest part of the day.
Yeah.
But there's what I was stationed in Las Vegas for a little more than 2 years in the Air Force there, and you have
just been talking about Vegas.
Yeah, I heard you. I was out cutting the grass and listening in, but yeah, it's the biggest thing you can do to prepare for it is in your mind. You just have to suck it up. You just have to deal with it. That's it. You have to keep going. You have to. I say put it out of your mind. I don't know how else to describe it. Just don't think about it and keep doing what you're doing as much as you can. But here's a tip that I found at work for me, and even still, look at how the traditional dress of the Arabs and the Mexicans, okay, they keep their skin covered completely, head to toe. They keep their skin covered. We keep the sun off of your skin because that will burn you. You know, that makes you even hotter when the sun is directly on your body. Keep it covered. Wear long sleeves, wear a big hat like the Mexicans, and the traditional clothing of the Mexicans is like a thin, loose shirt with something over the shirt. You know, to keep
usually
the heat
a
of
vest
the sun,
or something.
Right. Correct. Yeah, like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but keep that sun off your skin as much as you can. Yeah. And even if you don't think you need water, drink more.
Okay, Mark, no problem.
We went down to we did a red flag at Fort Irwin.
Oh yeah, I've been there.
Right, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And this was early September, red hot. People were not, guys were not allowed onto the training area without a couple of things, essentials, and one of them was a
Lilibet,
cool flask.
good to see you.
And most of them would be at least 2 liters, 2 quarts of container.
Yeah.
And they put cold water in there, and guys would put Gatorade sachets in there to give it some flavor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you just kind of, for me, I just kind of put it out of my mind. You know, don't just sit there and keep saying to other people and to yourself, "Oh, it's so hot. Oh, it's so hot." Just let it go. You know, we all know it's hot. Just suck it up and keep going. You know.
I did a bit of research earlier, and the water purification tablets that people buy, Puritabs and stuff like this, they lose their potency when it gets to 27 degrees Celsius and above.
Okay.
Good to know. I didn't know that. So that
How much
was
is
new information.
20? Let me do a conversion here. We're still using Fahrenheit.
Right.
Okay.
27 Celsius, so whatever that is.
Celsius.
One for further investigation.
80 degrees here. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Ruined after that. If they've experienced that type of temperature, are they ruined?
Well, I didn't actually check whether that was in storage or for when you actually use them?
I don't know.
I'll check in a sec. So, yeah. So I can imagine if that was storage, then I would say thereafter, then it's a possibility they would be knackered. But I'll have a quick check. Stand by.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did have something happen to me about 3 days after I drank a half a dozen glasses of that purified water for 2
Yeah.
days, and no joke, I don't know, I can't say correctly exactly, I shit myself, but it was like I didn't have any stomach upset, nothing. I had no warning, nothing. But it was 2 days after I drank that water. It was just one time where I could not make it to the bathroom. I don't know if it was from the tablets or what it was, but yeah. But it wasn't immediate, though. It was not immediately.
This is where today's the danger today of checking what you intake into your body, your food, your drink is so important these days because you notice that you get these products that come out. For example, I'm going to say the word, but I don't want to sort of promote the company. There's a certain drink that says that if you drink
Hey,
it,
Hendo.
it gives you wings. If you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And but then you get the cheaper versions of that, and you know what's in them. I mean, even the sort of the good versions of Ed Ball. I missed out the first letter. Drink, and it's supposed to give you wings. Apparently, someone drank 5 of those. A little young girl, 5, one after the other, and she died. Some of these drinks can be dangerous.
There is a warning on those things for people under a certain age, and there's caffeine strong. I've just done I'll just reconfirm that figure, and it is up to 86 degrees or 27 degrees Celsius. But that's when you're actually using them, not in storage.
Okay.
Right,
When in storage, they should be in a cool place anyway, out the sunlight,
Yeah.
because that's when the actual chemical reaction takes place, and they'll start to lose their effectiveness after those temperatures, which means that if you're using them in plus 90 degree Fahrenheit, plus 30 degree Celsius heat, then potentially the pathogens that you want to kill may not be all killed, and you're still drinking some of them. That's the thing with Puritabs.
Well, I'll follow on with this. Okay, you guys heard my story about drinking city water in the Philippines, and
Yeah.
I was down for 4 days, and I drank our regular tap water here for 2 days with those tablets. I didn't feel sick, but I did lose bowel control one time only. That was it. I could deal with that in comparison to drinking dirty water.
In
Believe
comparison to drink dirty water, yeah.
me. Yeah. I could deal with losing my bowel control one time compared to 4 days and nights of it. Yeah. Well,
it's a
I'm
big
gonna
killer,
keep
isn't it?
them.
That is horrible. 4
it was
days.
awful.
Oh.
You look at the people want to delve into that sort of a scenario. Look into the soldiers in Malaya in the Far East in the Second World War, and so many died of dysentery,
right?
And just shitting themselves. You know, got the runs and all this sort of stuff. That it's unbelievable. It really is. And I mean, you know, especially children. Because children have got you got to really keep an eye on kids, because they're not just kids are not little adults. They're a completely different,
Absolutely correct.
physiological being, which needs managing a lot more closer. You know, so just because you're okay and you're making the kids do what you do won't make it effective for the kids. That's what people have got to consider. Yeah. They burn easier.
And the same thing for the pets you have as well. You need to keep it. an eye on
Exactly.
them too.
Pets are another ball game people got to consider. And some pets, they don't even indicate that they're in pain or anything like this. But you offer them water and they'll take it. Yeah.
Never ever
Suppose-
leave a dog in a
Yeah.
car in the summertime.
Yeah, exactly.
Not even
Pets
from
in cars, humans in cars, kids in cars, old folk in cars as well.
Yeah.
Same thing that happened. In fact, that's sorry, Bob.
I'm glad you brought that up, PV, about children's anatomy.
Yeah.
If you've got little kids, please look into it, because my missus has told me a few things about treating when she worked for a children's hospital up in Seattle. Their bodies are substantially different than an adult. I don't know how else to put it. Just really substantially, the amount of medication that they can tolerate or can tolerate. What would put us into shock doesn't bother a child. What doesn't bother us will kill a child. It's so, if you got little kids, look into it, really study it.
Different being.
They are. Mm-hmm.
And so Lilibeth Tate Channel says the safest water we can drink is coconut water.
Correct.
Now then,
Yeah.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
coconut water's okay,
Mm-hmm.
but if you drink too much, it'll give you the shits.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone, it's like veg and sugar and everything else. Everything's got a toxicity level and a tolerance level. You go beyond that, then you'll start getting, adverse effects. Same as oral rehydration salts, diarrhea, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
It's okay as a one-off sort of solution every day or so. This is what I do. I'm not telling anyone to do this every day, so to keep your electrolyte levels from depleting. But because what we used to do is when we used to go on arduous physical activity, I'm talking 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 mile events in the army.
Mm-hmm.
Guys would take, and I'll do this as well, we would take oral rehydration salts or diarrhea. That was the brand name we used to take. Put it in a sachet of empty the sachet of water in your water bottle, top yourself up to stop you losing all your sweat. Where you're gonna go, because you literally get to the point where you could taste the salt on your forehead and etc. etc. And then if you have too many of these, if you have say 2, 3, 3 or 4 of these sachets, thinking give yourself a good boost, it'll have the opposite effect, and your body will expel this sort of stuff out of your system, and it's pretty pointless. People have got to be aware of that sort of thing, going to extremes.
Yeah, Miss Lil, she's a Filipina, and drinking coconut milk is very common for them. But if you're a foreigner and you go to the Philippines or a tropical country and it's available, take it easy, because your stomach is not used to it. Try one glass, maybe 2 later on. Space it out. But yeah, for Lil, they cook with coconut. They do everything with coconut. But for us foreigners, it's just not available to us. So just go slow and easy with that.
Yeah. There's so people we've also got to think about and talk about really alternate methods of hydration. So I mean, if you want to put a drip into someone, fine. Are you going to sacrifice the drip, the giving set, the cannula, etc.
Mm-hmm.
because someone's going down the path of dehydration, or are you going to? People have got to weigh up the odds of, if they've got giving sets and stuff like this and drips, then are they going to save that for traumatic injuries, or this? It's a weigh up the odds, and we've got to mention the subject. Don't drink your urine if you're in that sort of a situation. Complete bollocks. People.
Mm-hmm.
And if anyone's watching, seen Bear Grylls, that sort of argument would have been going on, but I wouldn't advise that because don't drink seawater and all that sort of malarkey because your body will just use more water and you will dehydrate yourself more. Rehydrating through rectal methods is a good one for people who want to do that. If you're in that situation, shove a tube up your ass, some water, and give yourself a dehydration version of an enema.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that sort of thing. Apparently, it's a very effective way of taking in water and absorbing water. For anyone who can't take it on board themselves, they might have, I don't know, been unconscious or something, or something to people for investigating. I'm not going to mention anything like that. But,
I for one would rather have an IV than anything rectal. Thank you very much.
well, I was in when we was in Bosnia. It was mega hot. I couldn't believe how the Balkans got so hot. It was into its 36s, something like that. And we're in an enclave, and the guy I was with, we were only in a little four-man team. The guy I was with was getting bad headaches. He was dehydrating. He felt really crap. And I said to him, hey, a bit of practice, or I'll put a drip into you. So I put a drip into him. And literally within 30 seconds, he started to feel better. Literally.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable, the difference. But, again, it comes at a risk. You really got to know what you're doing. It's a skill, really. You got to practice that sort of thing. But
I did experience dehydration, severe dehydration once at Nellis in Las Vegas. We had exercises constantly, war games constantly, and this was one of them where you have to wear your civilian clothes and they put blood on you and bones sticking out and all that, checking, because everyone gets first aid, everybody does, and you got to practice with it. So the lieutenant who was delegating assignments went to me and my best buddy and said, "You two are shell shock, and you're out of it. You're mentally gone. We have to practice for that also." So, sir, what are my limitations? Can I do anything I want to do? And he said, you can do anything you want, but just don't do it near the airplanes because you might get shot. Okay. So that was my day to run amok. I got in fist fights. I got the hell beat out of me. I was tied up and locked in a cage. Same with my buddy, I did whatever I wanted to. And at the end of the day, that was no drinking. I was physically running. I remember once I had my elbows strapped to my ribs and I broke out of the tape and I'm running across the parking ramp and I got tackled by a couple other airmen and brought back in and locked up. But by the end of the day, I was dehydrated, and nothing feels better when that needle goes in and the fluids start coming into your body. I didn't realize how sick I was, but started getting rehydrated and the lights come on. Oh my God, man, I didn't realize I was that sick. But one of the funnest days I had in the military.
Doing it next year.
Anything I wanted to do, dude. Anything.
Hey Bob, have you ever watched that guy? What's his name? Sergeant Bilko.
No.
Sergeant Bilko. Yeah.
You never heard of Sergeant Bilko?
Yeah, 80s, 70s, 80s, black and white. I think it was earlier than that, 60s.
American.
Yeah, Sergeant Bilko,
yeah.
I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah. Secondary knock-on effects, heat waves. A couple of years ago, in the Mediterranean, I think it was Rhodes or Kos or Crete, one of those islands. there was a big fire, and the fire spread that quick over the brush fire that some of the holiday makers had to get evacuated out of the hotel that quick. They were literally stood up in what that was it. And by the time it had finished, they were on the beach. Boats were picking them up off the beach because the wind was blowing in that direction. And they literally had to catch the flight home in just what they were stood up in for the last 2 days. Yeah, uncomfortable. They were alive and stuff like this, but no doubt others weren't.
Yeah, I wanted to throw this in with that situation. You know, it was 100 degrees, and I'm running and fist fighting again and again, and I had all my clothes torn off me except for my pants. My shirt was because I was fist fighting. I was, and the first signs, as I recall, of being dehydrated is a loss of balance, and your thought process is skewed.
Yeah.
Do you understand? And it's very damaging. Man, believe me, you can die from that pretty quickly or become completely incapacitated. So if somebody's looking at you and handing you water, freaking drink it, man. It was a circumstance where I didn't have the option.
Yeah.
Very uncomfortable.
Yeah, heat exhaustion. I mean, if people are conducting any sort of activity that involves thinking, decision making, then you've got to keep an eye on each other, because you can quite easily make the wrong decision, and that could turn out worse than could have otherwise been.
Yeah, so watch out for other people, watch out for each other, because
he says there, my cousin died of dehydration. And
that's Lil.
Like I said at the beginning, heat waves are the leading cause of weather-related deaths globally. The leading cause, and touching 500,000 deaths. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been to Greece in summers where it was so hot that there was thousands dying.
Oh God!
In Greece, where literally thousands of people died of like elderly people.
Okay.
It was really sad. It happens where it's.
Yeah, the vulnerable. Heat stroke, that's the worst one, as Vanessa says there.
Yeah.
The one to watch out for. And
yeah.
The thing about it is, the heat-related injuries, it's preventable because the signs are there. The stages people go through to before the end result. So people have got to watch out for the signs, and like I said, you just got to, if it gets to that situation, stop, get in the shade, get under cover, get some wind going over you, keep drinking. You can wet your clothes and stuff like this, but and then prevent yourself going on to the next stage. And like Costa says there, it'll be the vulnerable, the elderly, the kids.
Yeah.
Even if you're not thirsty, you got to keep drinking. In Afghanistan, we literally could not drink quick enough to keep on top of it. Literally could not drink quick enough.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds unbelievable, but
it's true.
Trying to drink, it just doesn't feel natural. You literally got to force it down yourself.
You do. Yeah. It was the same way in Nevada, PV. It was the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
I estimated I would drink a minimum of 1 full gallon during the daylight hours.
Oh yeah.
Easily. Yeah. And not even have to urinate because it's just pouring out of your body.
Oh, that sounds familiar. I can drink, and it's as soon as I get it into my body, it evaporates.
Yes.
The Bud Files. Hello, how are you doing?
Miss Lil being here, I remember back when my wife was still living overseas in the Philippines, and we talked on Skype twice a day, every day for years. And
hey, Linda Peterson, good to see you.
Over there during the summertime, she would step away from the webcam. Excuse me, Guapo, I'll be right back. And she'd she'd go stick her head underneath the kitchen sink and get her hair wet
Mm.
and leave it, just throw it back on her head and just cool herself off a little bit because it's that hot over there. There's an important thing okay, if you're, how do I put this? Observe the locals who live there. The Filipinos don't come outside during the day unless they have to, right? They come out when the sun is coming down, and then they come out of their house and go hang out outside or whatever. Yeah. Observe the locals, see how they dress, see how they act, their behavior. You can learn a lot just by being observant.
Yeah. My uncle, he was he's a former retired captain in a merchant fleet. He told me that it was so hot, so they had to give the crew salt tablets, two salt tablets, because it was so freaking hot. So they had to, otherwise they would be knocked out. And
Yeah, we used to get that in the British Army ration packs, salt tablets.
yeah,
But you don't see them anymore. They've gone on. They give you nowadays. They give you things that are similar to Gatorade sachets, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. The hard part when I was in the military, we just didn't have that convenience. There wasn't that stuff around. The medics carried little cans of electrolyte. It was a liquid,
Right.
but when we're out on the airplanes, you can't have that stuff around. It just wasn't available. But it's very easy now, man. Stock up on some of those little packets of dehydrated Pedialyte or whatever. Keep some of that stuff on hand. I do. I've got the liquid and I've got the dehydrated.
Yeah.
It's so much more convenient nowadays.
I agree.
Yeah, I bought some tubes. I buy a set of tubes every year of these tablets you pop into the mortar.
Mm-hmm.
Just see what the name of them are.
Yeah.
Hey Tracy, good to see you, man.
But I'll go back to the beginning statement I made, is that a lot of it is up here when it's really hot. You just have to deal with it. Just suck it up. Deal with it. When you get overheated, and you'll feel it, and just go get a basin of water and pour it over your head to cool your body down a little bit and leave your clothes wet.
And like Guardian said earlier, even just a simple rag of cloth,
Yes.
material, scarf around your neck,
Mm-hmm.
it's always handy. Even a lot of times in the summer, I'd walk around with like a kind of scarf, like a shamag, and people were like, "What you got a shamag for?" And I was like, I said to them, "Well, there are many uses for shamags."
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like a shamag, the people in the Middle East, they wear that around their face to keep the sun off of their skin. Yeah. There's another thing you can do too, if a wet towel or whatever around your neck, but get some kind of a container of cool water and sink your hand into it. You'll feel where your pulse is at right here, where you can take your pulse. Have the water go past that and just sit there, and that helps to cool your body off a little bit because your skin is very thin in this area.
Oh, well, actually, there's good stuff like that is good to know, because even like dogs, they could go into heat stroke very, very quickly, and it happens. It can happen very fast, and a lot of there's good indicators. You look at their tongue. Sometimes their tongue starts changing shape over a period of time, and it can get dire. When you see a tongue that looks like it's got a sort of a shovel at the end of it, a shape like a kind of it's gone into a kind of shovel shape. It's trying to get air. It's desperately trying to get sort of cooled down. So, and like you just said about the feet, and I mean, sorry, the hands. With the dogs, they've got these things in their paws apparently that help them cool down. But,
Norfolk, UK prepper. What are the signs of heat stroke? Right. So I would say three things to be aware of. Three sort of main. Well, there's loads, from prickly heat all the way up, but sunburn, prickly heat exhaustion, heat stroke is the killer.
Yep.
So you're looking at, and this is severe and life-threatening. So it's when your body fails to have the ability to regulate its own body temperature. Mm-hmm. So you'll be getting things like hot, dry skin, headaches, rapid heartbeat, and high temperature. You're talking 104 degrees Fahrenheit type thing. That's the basic thing. Whereas heat exhaustion is sort of a milder condition, and heat exhaustion is caused by excess heat and dehydration. So you'll be getting heavy sweating, you'll be getting weakness, you'll be getting muscle cramps, headaches again, but you'll also be getting nausea, vomiting, and your skin will be cool and moist as opposed to hot and dry. So hot and dry skin, heat stroke, cool and moist with heat exhaustion. There's more to it than that, but the basics, Google it, grok it.
Yeah, I put a link in the chat, Wikipedia, heat stroke, so you can read.
Part of the first aid, part of people's sort of first aid awareness, first aid training, not just concentrating on, the ABCs, airway, breathing, circulation, or breathing, bleeding, breaks and burns, but cold-related injuries, hot-related injuries, how to identify hypothermia, hypothermia, heat exhaustion, heat stroke, how to deal with sunburn, how to deal with things, anaphylactic shock type things.
From bee stings, you can get that from a bee sting as well.
Yeah, exactly. The anaphylaxis from insect bites and stings. Sunburn.
And even peanuts if you're allergic to that.
Yeah, peanut can kill you.
There was a story of a young lady. She got on an aeroplane, and she stayed away from nuts and all kinds of seeds and what have you. And she had traces of a sesame seed. But the thing was, it was because the plane just sort of had taken off. Everything happened so fast. Sad girl, she passed away. Allergies as well. Things have got.
Some people are really super sensitive to that sort of stuff. Yeah.
The
people who are normally carry around some sort of injection with them if they're and some sort of warning bracelet or something like this to let other people know.
To take into consideration, like when prepping for heat waves, medication. Like, does that sort of affect stores? I mean, are there closures? If there's a heat wave, does it affect?
I suppose the big one is insulin. People who are insulin dependent.
Yeah, those who are have diabetes.
They have a stash of insulin in their fridge. The clock is ticking, so to speak.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a reason why every military in the world concentrates on fitness, because fitness has got all its benefits, not just fighting or the ability to do an assault course or fighting in built-up areas, but the benefits of fitness go beyond that. It extends to things like your ability to adapt quicker and acclimatize quicker to hot scenarios.
True.
So fitness is a winner. I mean, all the infrastructure systems, like we alluded to earlier, get stressed. And the thing that would probably be on my mind in a big heat wave would be the power grid starting to fail through overload or fires or heat damage or heat fluctuations and stuff like this.
No, Lily, I'm not familiar with that.
So, what does it say? So, do you guys familiar with the bitter melon that's good for diabetic people?
Umpalia.
No, I'm not really familiar with that one.
It's kind of hard to find here in the States. You have to go to the Asian store, and they don't always have it. Tastes terrible. It is awful. But usually, don't. It looks like a cucumber. We'll slice it and then fry it with scrambled eggs. Yeah, umpalia. Yeah. Okay, sorry, Lil. I thought I'd misspell it, but umpalia. Yeah, it's not very good. If I have something else to eat, I'll eat something else. Just to be honest.
Yeah.
So does it taste better when you fry it?
Yeah, it does. And mix it really heavily. Mix it with another type of food like scrambled eggs or other vegetables, because oh brother, you don't want to take a slice of that stuff and put it right in your mouth. I mean, that's hardcore, man. That's just it's got a strong flavor.
Yeah, I bet it does.
It does.
Well, now Lilibet says, but now they had capsules.
I didn't know that. Well,
Yeah.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, that's one of the home remedies Filipinos have been using for centuries. If you're older and have diabetes, eat that once a day or something like that.
So what kind of effect does that bitter melon has on the body then? And how would that help those who has diabetes?
Well, I can't really answer that. The Filipinos say it helps with diabetes. So
One worth looking into, I suppose.
Like I said, gentlemen, if I have something else to eat, I'll eat something else. Okay. Don't want to be rude to the host. You got to eat a little bit of it,
Things like, like a couple of summers ago, when it was really hot, we had a bit of a heat wave. I can notice things start to change. I mean, there were the asphalt outside was melting. So roads are starting to degrade.
Yes.
Tire pressures in vehicles changed. It's got a bit of a safety factor creeping in. You'll soon find out if your radiator system on your vehicle is working in good order or not. You don't really see many vehicles at the side of the road these days with the bonnet up with steam coming out of it like you used to back in the 70s and 80s and stuff like that. The engine management system's a lot better. But I've got to say, I was in Sierra Leone, West Africa, and a guy had put some water bottles on the seats of the Land Rover, left them there, come back 20 minutes later, and they'd magnified a burning hole into the seats where the sun had burnt the way through. So it's simple things like water bottles, placing them unattended in areas could quite easily cause fires and stuff like that. And likewise, some of these water bottles at the best of times, these PET water bottles, they're so flimsy.
Oh, they are.
Add a bit of heat and they just become useless, really.
Oh, that reminds me, I checked on my preps the other day, and the wife had brought home a case of water bottles, and each bottle has had about that much water evaporate out of them over.
Right.
She bought those in 2020. So, yeah, check your stuff. Yeah. I'm probably just going to take that water and put it into my distillery and boil it out and use it for my
Yeah.
daily drinking.
Yeah, it's why people have got to make sure from minute one that wherever they're storing any sort of preps or anything like that, it's going to be in a nice stable environment through extremes, especially if it's in a place where it's unattended.
Yeah.
Like I've got a load of stuff on my boats, and it's steel, so it gets like a fridge in the winter when it's unattended, and in the summer it's like an oven. So I've got to make sure that's in an area where it's constantly sort of a nice stable temperature.
Yeah. I remember once when I was stationed in Nevada, the average temperature during the summer months is at least 100 degrees. And at times it will stay at 119 to 120 degrees during the summer for day and night. And we couldn't touch the airplanes. It was really challenging. But I saw a crew chief fry an egg on the wing of an F-16. No joke. I mean, that structure was so hot for so long, he cooked an egg. We didn't eat it, of course, but a
lot of planes have some helicopters have problems flying because it puts extra stress on the engine as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. Yeah. It affects air compression, either from the helicopter rotor wings and air compression coming into the intake.
Yeah.
Plus, extreme heat affects electronics also. What is
right.
It's like increases the resistance between element to element. So it can make equipment fail, and nothing made it fail than just heat. Yeah.
In an airplane or a helicopter, it's much sensitive equipment and.
That's what I've seen people on boats put an extra hole in the side of their boats, going as a conduit, going straight into the intake, so that in hotter weather, normally the air filter is inside the engine bay, and it's not as efficient as outside colder air temperature. So, like you say, it likes cold air for compression. Yeah, I've seen that happen.
Yeah, I think I'm going to bounce out of here, fellas. Go get something to eat.
Yeah.
Right. So, yep. No worries.
No worries.
CR, you get fired twice next time.
This is CR's subject, and he's not here.
Yeah.
In person.
It was his suggestions. And
take care, Miss Lil. Good to talk to you again. I'll go get something to eat.
Right. So we'll catch you in a bit, Bob.
Peace, guys. God bless.
God bless.
I mean, on my boat in the
okay,
the best
Lily,
of times
no
in the summer, because it's made of steel, you would get 2 inches of expansion in the boats. So on the door frames, you would see an inch gap in the daytime and either side of the door frame, and at night time it compressed back to normal. And especially boats which are painted dark colors and stuff like this, they attract the heat more. So, yeah. So I mean, keeping the fridge going is quite important.
Yeah.
Hugo Homestead, hello.
CB, good to see you.
All right, what did I miss for the last half hour? My neighbor started chit-chatting.
Just snippets of everything, really. Just
okay, I figured we're talking about heat in general.
Yeah. Things like heatstroke,
Interesting about the pets, especially dogs and cats.
Yeah.
You know, having to recognise. I mean, generally, an animal will, if you give it a bowl of water and it's thirsty, it will drink. It's not. It's the trick is not letting it get to the point in which it's too late.
Calm down.
Yeah, I know my German Shepherd. If it's hot outside, if I'm sitting out here, he'll come out and sit here, and I won't play much. Or if I don't go out, he goes out, does his thing, comes right back in the house because it's just too bloody hot out.
Yeah. Also, you're going to burn their pads as well in the hot weather on concrete.
Yeah, I don't take mine on a blacktop. I have a big backyard, grass, and a wood deck, so not worried about that. But yeah, I see people walking their dogs. I'm like, you know, it's 90 degrees outside or 30 Celsius here, and the blacktop, you can cook an egg on it. Yeah. And there's their dog walking on the blacktop. I'm like, that's just mean.
Yeah. So, Daryl, have you got any sort of little shoes or pads for your dog?
I've been kind of looking into different styles, but I haven't got any as yet as at the moment.
I was thinking about in any sort of SHTF event or disaster, about little shoes or socks or pads you can get to cover your dog's feet.
What I do
not only protect them against broken glass and debris, but hot and cold as well.
I'll just grab his case. With med kit. I kind of got improvised booties, but if there is such a thing where I need to protect his feet.
Hugo says there, you need to practice with the shoes. They don't automatically like them. Yeah.
Right.
No, I've seen that. They lift each paw and shake it as they're walking. Get it off, get it off, get it off, get it off, get it off.
Hey, Howie. Good to see you.
Right, so what we're looking at there?
These are like some bags that I picked up that were going with a promotion.
I was just about to say, you've got a big dog. That's a big foot.
Well, I mean, yeah, you've got massive paws. But then, I've got this kind of blue tape, self-adhesive.
I don't think the plastic's going to prevent the heat going through because it's not very well insulated, those baggies.
No, yeah. I'm just saying this was my thinking was if he got injured, if his foot got injured, it's in his med kit.
Oh, okay.
It's just in his med kit. I'm thinking if he got injured, he's got a way of covering up the leg.
Have a look at your talk us through your med kit there.
The dog's med kit basically is made up of simple things, just like clippers, tweezers for any insects that get stuck in him on him in his skin, anything that needs splinters and stuff like that. A little torch if it happens to be nighttime. If I'm going through the bush, a spare battery with that as well. If you can see the battery, another self-adhesive roll. Got 2 of those. Can't get enough of them. And even something like a makeshift poncho to throw over my dog. Even myself, if necessary. I can use some of this kit on myself in a pinch. It does go in his jacket, and it also has various size kind of gauze pads.
Hugo says if they get injured, keep some baby socks and the bags for waterproofing if they get their paw hurt, and you have to keep it clean and dry. That's a good idea.
Good idea. I'll just keep a pouch with more of these little bags. But yeah, like I said, I've been looking into because I was supposed to be doing a video on CJ's jacket soon. Off-grid grandma said to me, "Where's CJ's jacket?" And I've said, "I've got to do a video on it." So I'm watch this space. That's all I can say. So yeah, that's basically it. It comes in a nice little pouch, and basically it goes on his jacket. He's got 2 of these pouches. He's got water bottles, but I will do a video of it soon. So.
Oh, Norfolk UK Prepper says we had an RSPCA on site the other day warning dog peeps not to take dogs out in extreme hot weather. They asked the owners to take their shoes and socks off and walk around like a dog. Some people refused. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I stay away from that. In the early morning and then in the evening, I'll take him out. When it's fresher, later in the afternoon.
Hugo says Coban tape works on dogs. I've never heard of that. What's Coban
I
tape?
never heard of that either.
I have no idea what that is either.
Have to Google that,
Yeah.
Grocket or duck go it.
Other meds that are going to go in his kit as well soon. So, like I said, watch this space, my channel, and then I'll do a video of that soon. He's got another, like I said, he's got another pouch like this one, and it's going to have other kit in it as well.
Right.
And
Do you have one of those? Do you have one of those harnesses for him
Take
with
care,
the little saddlebags on it?
Yeah, he's got a jacket it's kind of got. I've seen those harnesses as well. He has got a harness. Yeah, he's got 2 types of jackets. He's got one with pouches, and he's got other one with harness style.
Right. So Coban tape is a self-adhesive, cohesive bandage, basically.
Yeah, like an ace bandage. That's the tan, stretchy ones. My wife uses those. I didn't know the name of it. Yeah, like that. It wraps sticks to itself. That's it.
Yeah. You can get they're quite cheap, actually. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's the stuff.
Pound in the pound store. Pound in the pound shop.
Yeah, they're cheaper. They like Dear says there, they get them in pound shops.
And you can flatten them as well. You can just squeeze it flat.
Yeah.
And they go in pouches. And just quickly wrap it round. Obviously, I've got these other pouch, and I'm going to have some wet wipes in there for doggy wet wipes and stuff like that. You've got to clean, and also, I do keep a razor in here, but it's not in the pouch for some reason. I do keep a razor just in case you've got a wound on a dog and you need to shave the hairs off.
Yeah. If I had a dog like a Belgian Malinois, for instance, I would look at getting some sort of little booties for it or something. Yeah, makes sense, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah. Someone just offered me a Belgian Malinois. Funny enough.
No more pets for me though. That's it.
Yeah. 4-year-old male dog. Sadly, the family got other things going. They can't look. I mean, I wish people would really seriously think about getting a dog before they get a dog. Yeah. You've got so many stories of people getting a dog and then, oh, well, we had to move or my job or whatever reason, just don't do it. Because
that's how I got my last dog. The people moved and they just let the dog out and left.
Yeah.
The dog was running around the neighborhood for like a week. Everybody thought it was a black lab, and everybody had labs. And it came to me, and I was like, I thought it was somebody else's. And the guy's like, everybody stop bringing this dog here. Here's my dog. I was like, okay. So I kept it. He was very smart. Called the Humane Society, put it on the line for a week, and nobody claimed it. And they called me up and said, okay, we'll take it. I was like, hell no, I'm keeping this one.
Good on you. Good on you. I'll tell you what.
They offered to do all the shots and stuff. I was like, no, I'll take it to my vet. I'm not going to make you do it for free. You guys have enough dogs.
I can follow, son.
Dog rescuers are my heroes. Some of my heroes.
Yeah. Hugo said there'll be a lot of strays in SHTF. I've seen it in Kosovo. Saw a pack of now wild dogs. They look like they used to be pet dogs that the owners are either died or let loose or whatever, and they were now roaming around in packs. And I saw one pack of dogs eating what was left of a dead cow, all tucking into that. So reverting back to their wolf-like instincts into the pack. Yeah, so Uncle Al's got a good suggestion there, Shadow. Is next week follow on, do a snow apocalypse type cold wave episode.
Yeah, we could do that for next week, even if it's, well, burning hot. That might be a cool live stream.
Yeah, throw that one in.
Living in the UK, sometimes it's like everyone complains when it's cold, then they're complaining when it's hot.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's what we were saying earlier. We never get used to any sort of temperature because it's just changing every 5 minutes.
Very changeable, yeah.
It's if you go from the south of the UK to Scotland, which is 650, 700 miles, you're talking a massive temperature difference and weather difference. And so it's probably snowing in Scotland today. Yeah, down the south coast, you're talking 28 degrees. And then all the other bits of weather in between. So, I mean, there are a couple of pluses with heat waves and the hot weather. It's, you do get the ionosphere changes for anyone who's doing long-range comms. So you got different frequencies and stuff like this you can use. So depending on what propagation you use, obviously, but yeah, I mean, like I said, for me, it'll be get in the shade, nice breeze blowing over your spray bottle, and just keep drinking. That's the sort of the baseline for me. Yeah.
Hey, Wanda, good to see you, man. CB says, I have a song that I play for my German Shepherd to calm her. I can calm her if there is chaos or pew-pews with the song, even if I have to sing it to her and can't play it on my phone.
Okay, that's funny. My sister has a couple coon cats. Putting one on a motorbike, having cat motorbike cat basket. That's funny.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah.
Sometimes I get my dog to sing. I've got a short video of him howling in the song.
I think no matter where in the world you are, there's probably been a heat wave in wherever you are at some point. I mean, the baseline for Britain is everyone keeps referring back to a big heat wave in 1976. The summer of 1976, etc., etc., etc. In Argentina, they'll go on about the 2013 heat wave.
Yeah.
Europe, in fact, Europe is in the midst of a heat wave now. France, Italy, Spain. I know I've got a friend who just come back from Italy, went to see the sites there, the Colosseum, and all this sort of stuff. And he said, oh, it was just so hot. It was just unbelievable, just debilitating. It was like 43 degrees. And some people don't realize how hot some of these countries can get. I was surprised how hot the Balkans get. Kosovo,
Yeah.
Macedonia, places like that. 48 degrees. It's just unbelievably hot. You just can't do anything. You really can't do anything. So, yeah, at some point, somewhere, wherever you are in the world, you've probably had some form of heat wave before. Just go back and look what happened and, see the effects it had on people, the infrastructure, the power lines, the crops, the roads, the rail, and so on and so on. It'll give you some idea of what to expect or what to look out for, how to store your stuff. And we've obviously advanced since then, since all these events obviously not the European one that's just going, but you can then sort of look at getting different bits of gear and stuff like that. I mean, well, I was in Kosovo, for instance. We were on this hilltop, and it was so hot, no wind. Oh, there was a breeze. Sorry, there was a bit of a breeze. So what we had to do was we had to make our own sort of cooling systems and all this sort of stuff. And at that time, we didn't get neck coolers or anything like that. So we got a sweat rag, in which people doused in really thin material, thin, fine cotton scarf, basically, and it's quite effective. So we used to wrap our metal water bottles up. So you wet the rag, wrap it around your metal water bottle, hang it up somewhere, where there's a cool breeze blowing over it, and it has like a cooling effect on the water you're drinking. So at least you got some respite. You're drinking cool water as opposed to hot water. And if you douse anything with it, you're dousing yourself with cool water as opposed to hot water. But people have got to consider, it's a key resource in this sort of event. Your hot water is your water is your lifeline. If you use it for anything else, like on a sweat rag or washing your feet or putting it on the back of your neck or anywhere like that, fine. But that could have gone down your throat instead of on the floor. So,
yeah, you're just putting it back in the atmosphere. It just evaporates out and it's gone.
Yeah.
Has anybody here besides me ever made a swamp air conditioner?
No.
Well, explain what that.
So you take a 5-gallon bucket or a cooler, 48-quart cooler or whatever, and you fill it up with ice, or about 3/4 away with ice. You drill a hole in one side and put a tube on it, at the top, where it's not in the ice, and you aim it where you want it to go, like your tent or whatever. And then the other side, you just put a small, little tiny computer fan on there to blow the outside air through the cooler, which picks up the cold, humid, moist air and blows it out the other side. They work, not for very long, but they work. But you have to be able to get ice. That's the problem.
Yeah. All right. No, not tried that.
If you can get your hands on ice, you probably don't need to make a swamp cooler.
Yeah. Yeah.
We did it once in Boy Scouts just because. Worked great for about an hour, and then it was just blowing warm air again.
Novelty factor.
Yeah, that's all. That's all
Yeah.
it was. Like, yes, it works. Would I do this in a shit hit the fan situation? No, probably not.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we used to. People don't understand the importance of water usage unless it's unless you're cut off from somewhere. Many exercises, many operations we used to deploy on foot, and you'd be dropped off somewhere, or you insert very, very, parachuting or whatever. And what you've got on your body is that's it. And 9 times out of 10, we used to 3 days, 72 hours with the kit. At worst case, and you'd hope to meet up with your vehicle by that point, but I've been in situations where you don't realize how quick you're using water until it runs out, and you'll think, now what? So then you're going into harvesting water from streams, and you're using water purification tablets and all this sort of stuff. So, in that sort of situation, there was no shaving, no washing. It was purely for drinking.
Yeah.
So,
Well, if it's that hot out, you can lather up with your own sweat and just stand outside. You'll keep sweating and rinse yourself off, right?
yeah, it evaporates too quick to do it.
Of course, when you run out of water in the body, you might have dry soap scum all over you.
Yeah. I'm just looking actually at what they call portable all-in-one air conditioners on Temu, and you can get them for £10, the $12 sort of mark.
Oh, those little tiny ones.
Yeah, little sort of
they don't
box
work.
thing. You fill up with water and.
Yep, it's a swamp cooler. That's all it is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean,
10-second cooling.
I have a regular portable AC unit. I keep at the cabin, and I'll probably use it next weekend when I go out. because the inside of the cabin, I mean, I'm in the trees in a low area, so it's always cool there. But the inside of the cabin will get up in the, I don't know, my temperature, like the high 70s, which I'm guessing is about the 25-degree range Celsius. And it's a little too uncomfortable for me to sleep, but I'll plug that thing in. It has a vent that goes out the window. And I open one of the windows, put this little vent thing in there, seal it up, fire up the generator, let it run because it's well insulated. I let it run for about an hour, shut it off. Oh, it's nice and dehumidified and cool in that cabin all night long.
So Hugo says, do you use a sun oven?
I do not. I have too many trees where I'm at to worry about it. So,
right.
I thought about it. I'm like,
hey, Emily, good to see you.
I have enough firewood and bricks and stuff to make a pizza oven or whatever I need to. I don't really bake anything. If it's cold out, I'm cooking on the open fire or my little stove.
Yeah.
If it's hot out, I mean, I'm not eating hot food.
Yeah, exactly. Linda Peterson says, sun ovens are great. I have one of those for myself.
If you're in a hot area and you want to make a cake or a pie or roast beef or something, sure. You got to play with it all the time to make sure the sun is still aiming the right way. I've seen them. I think they're cool and they do work, but I've never had the need or desire to invest in one or even try to make one.
I wonder if anyone's actually, they probably have. If I've thought of it, someone else has thought of it. I wonder if anyone else has actually tried to get an air conditioning unit out of a vehicle and modify it for a sort of a lower power consumption device, as opposed to getting an off-the-shelf.
You could,
one.
But an AC compressor in a car, and I don't know if you guys use horsepower or watts over there or kilowatt, whatever you use, but the general air conditioner compressor in any modern car drains off about 10 to 12 horsepower off your engine just to run. So you need a pretty significant power source to run these things to turn the pulley. So I don't think that's real. And a windmill's not going to do it.
No.
Unless you got a really big windmill.
Yeah. I mean, my solution is just to go outside in the shade. That's the best.
Too hot inside, go outside, sit in the shade, get a little fan or something, or if you don't have one, just find a place where the breeze blows a little bit and you're not in the direct sun.
Sit there and wait.
Yep, wait out the sunshine. That's why in Mexico they have afternoon siesta.
Yeah, that's another thing.
For a couple hours, so because it's just too bloody hot to work.
On the Mediterranean as well, Spain, Italy, Greece, all these sorts of things. They all, everything closes down from early afternoon.
Yeah, like 12 to 2. We're closed. Sorry. Too hot to work. So, well, we had, let's see, it's now down to 25 here, and it's starting to rain. So we're getting all kinds of weather.
Hugo says, I have a portable air conditioner that can run on my solar Jackery if needed for a while at least.
My Jackery is only 1,000 watts, so it won't run it.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing with these little portable life solar stations is, if people, it might seem a good idea to get these things, but you got to, if you're getting them to run a freezer or a fridge or anything like that, or anything like an air conditioning unit, you've got to recharge the thing. It's only got a finite amount of power.
Yeah.
And I would suggest get 3. One being used, one that's been charged on standby, and one being charged. But then again, you've got to have the whole array of sufficient solar panel array, sufficiently enough to heat it in time. The batteries, decent batteries, get the LiFePO 4s, which most of these units have got them in anyway. LiFePO 4 batteries.
I love mine. So in my cabin, I ran basically. Everybody would call it a suicide plug, but there's nothing hooked to it. It's a plug that comes out of the wall. I plug it into the Jackery. So it's an extension cord inside the wall, so to speak. And I plug my Jackery in. It'll run my ceiling fan because it'll show you how many watts it's drawing. and I have a ceiling fan in there that on low speed only draws like 12 watts. The LED light bulb I have in there, it's a really low, I don't need much. That only draws 4 watts. And I have a mini fridge in there. Now, when it runs, when you first turn it on, it runs for a while to get cold. That draws about 60, 80 watts. But then after it's cold, it just cycles on and off as needed. So I can go almost 2 days on a 1,000-watt Jackery without having to recharge it. I'll be down to like 2% when I leave. And if it gets that close, I just fire up the generator or put the solar panels outside if it's sunny out and put a little bit of a charge on. Mine takes about 8 hours to almost fully charge in direct sunlight. So.
Yeah. People have got to do their sort of their power audit before the demands before they actually get these sorts of things and decide what they've got. I did one on a freezer sort of solution for SHTF, and so this solution would enable a freezer to consistently run, and it relies on basically a 600-watt freezer, or which works out to be 6,000 watt hours plus 20% for inefficiencies and power surges and stuff like that. So you're looking at a 7.2 kilowatt hour power demand. So for that, I'd need 3,000 watt hour solar generators, which have got they should have inbuilt MPPT 30 amp controllers. They should have inbuilt LiFePO4 batteries, which can be discharged down to 10-20%, 3,000 cycles of lifespan. That's the beauty of getting these sort of solar charges, the fact that everything's in there. You don't have to do any sort of hunting around for the controllers, the cables, the batteries. People can obviously make these themselves. So therefore, on that sort of system, so with 3,000 watt hour solar generators, you could keep a freezer running 24/7. So you're looking at one being used, one on charge, one being charged. That's based on two 200-watt solar panels. Yeah, it can be done. And then likewise, delete the word freezer, insert another device. So some other sort of 600-watt device, you're looking at the same sort of power demand and equipment needed to sustain that. Yeah. But as always, these things are super expensive, some of these things, and that sort of a solution that comes to almost $5,000 worth of gear. And it depends how serious people want to be for their alternate systems. I mean, the beauty of having something like a boat, for instance, or a dedicated camper van or a fifth wheeler that you use for recreation is.
Hey, Suzanne, good to see you, man.
It allows these sort of systems in there, so you can start off with, so say my boat has got 300 watts of panels on there, 2.5 kilowatt inverter, 12 volt, 500 amp hour worth of batteries, and so on and so on. And you could gradually upgrade your system. So you're starting off with something already in place, and you've got some sort of capability. It just needs a bit of an upgrade as time goes on. Whereas if you're, going to buy one of these systems in addition to what you've already got in your house and stuff like this as a contingency, then it's, you're talking a lot of money. I'm not saying camper vans or boats are cheap; they're not, but they come with stuff that's already in them, So. Right, so 5 minutes. I'm going to have to split in 5 minutes.
Yeah, as usual.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's one of these events. It's like a looming hurricane and stuff like this. They're predictable to a certain extent, these heat waves, and people are good at complaining, but they just sit there and wait for it to happen, and then all of a sudden things start to cascade and crumble around them, and before they know it, they're sat in their house with no fridge, no freezer, roasting hot, on the verge of heat stroke, you know, where the diabetes medication has all gone bad because their fridge is gone.
Yeah.
And all they've got is, you know, just dehydrated food and stuff. So they've got no rounded sort of managed preps and stuff like this. It's a difficult one, but like I said, just about every country in the world has probably had a heat wave. It obviously depends on how extreme it is, but it comes with a variety of knock-on effects, from grid down to forest to fires, you know, brush fires, forest fires.
Yeah.
Personal dehydration, sunburn, stress on systems, and worst case scenario, it can have a cascade effect onto the supply chain, and then you're talking real, you know, long-term stuff then. But generally,
yeah, definitely.
Generally, I would say how long does a heat wave last? Generally, 2 weeks to a couple of months max. If you, I don't know. Yeah,
Hey,
so
Kippy, then good to see you.
Hugo was just saying then, for instance, you can run the refrigerator for 4 hours, then use the generator on something else, then back on the fridge for 4 hours. Yeah, I calculated generally a freezer stays on for 10 hours in the 24. So 10 hours a day it's on. But it's not a constant thing. It's not, you know, you can't really predict when it's going to come on. It's got to maintain its thermostatic balance.
Yeah, they have refrigerators and freezers. Like, so I have 2 chest freezers and 2 upright freezers. The chest freezers barely run at all.
Yeah.
And they're also very full. So a full freezer is actually a happy freezer. The upright freezers, as soon as you open the door, all the cold air runs out the bottom, all the hot air runs in the top. And when you shut the door, that thing will run for an hour to catch back up again.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. Chest freezers are far more efficient, and avoid opening it if it's all possible.
Don't open it. If you need something out of the freezer when the power's out, whatever's in your chest freezer, go with that.
So in your estimation, how long do you think food will... If power went out, how long will your freezer be okay for until the food inside starts to affect?
So it depends on the freezer. Like my 2 chest freezers are set for 15 below zero, whatever that is in Celsius.
Yeah.
Obviously, frozen is frozen below 32 degrees or below 0 Celsius. So once it gets up to that range, that's when things start to thaw out. So my chest freezers, full the way they are, at 15 below, I'm probably good for like 2, maybe 3 days before I have to start worrying about the stuff on top, because the top stuff's going to thaw first. And so, yeah, the chest freezers I'm kind of not overly concerned with for a reasonable power outage. And I can always plug my Jackery into each one of them for a while just to get the temperature down and then just unplug it. Now, the upright freezers, they'll get lagged. I'll put a bungee cord around it or a strap to keep them absolutely shut tight, but they're not the most efficient thing either. So my upright freezers, my 20 cubic foot one, if I don't open it, I give it like maybe a day and a half, 2 days before I have to start worrying about stuff in there. And they're full. So once you open the door, you better be ready to use pretty much everything in there, or at least let it thaw naturally so you can do something with it, like can it, preserve it, something. You better have other options available to not just lose all your food.
Yeah. Right, that's me. I've got to depart. And
no problem.
So we'll catch you all later, and we'll see you next week.
Good seeing you.
Yeah.
Stay hydrated.
See you next week,
Right, see you later, folks.
Yeah, like Linda said, so I'm talking 2 to 3 days for my chest in the summertime. That's if my AC dies, and they're in the basement, so it stays cooler down there. But in the wintertime, the inside of the house is warm. It'll cool down a little bit, because I'm not going to be running the heat much. But yeah, if it's below freezing outside, oh hell yeah, everything goes in cooler chests and goes out of my back porch. I use my deck for a refrigerator in the wintertime. I'll cook, a couple gallons of soup or something, and I'll put it outside for the night. And I'll come out and stir it to make sure it cools off evenly. But that, boiling soup, when I put it outside within like 3-4 hours in a big stainless steel pot, oh, it'll be cold within 3-4 hours, and it'll probably freeze solid overnight if I leave it out there. So I love that. I sort of love the temperature zone I'm in. I get the hot summers. I don't really like the heat, just like yourself, Shadow. I hate the heat. I'd rather
I don't like
I'd rather
it
put
either.
on an extra coat or a sweater, because in the summertime you just can't peel your skin off. It doesn't cool you off. So, but yeah, in the wintertime I love it. Summertime's okay, but I can't do much big cooking tasks in the summertime because I don't have the refrigerator space to cool things down properly. So all my big cooking projects usually go on starting in about October into March or so. It's like a good 6 months of getting all my stockpiles stocked back up, and then we just eat it over the summertime. It's a miserable day here. Now the humidity is like 100%. It's still 85 degrees, and it's just sticky.
Humid.
I can stand the humidity, but I can't stand the heat.
I don't like either one of them. I mean, when it's cooler out, if it's humid, yeah, it's kind of sticky. It's not too bad. But in the summertime, when the humidity is up and the temperature is up, oh, it's just brutal. Humidity just makes it worse.
Yeah, we have a dry heat, and I feel boiled, fried, barbecued, and smoked.
Yeah, I just saw the comment that popped up. I don't live in Wisconsin, so digging a hole in my rocky ground is not even an option around here to keep anything cool. So I got cooler chests and a shady area to keep stuff frozen. Yeah, I don't like fires either.
Hugo says, Mark, do you have prepped a younger brother? Lol, he
No.
needs to be young to keep up with me.
No,
I'm always doing project after project.
no. I have an older sister and 3 daughters. And yeah, sorry. And my dog is now just being a jerk. Hold on.
Yeah.
Talking of dogs, I've got to take my dog out, so I think I'm gonna having an early one tonight, Shadow.
Yeah, no problem.
Good seeing you there, dear love.
Nice to see you, Chef.
How do I say that? Dereal love or Dara love?
The real love.
Dereal love. Okay, I'll try to correct myself next time. I
Yeah,
apologize.
the reason what that is a kind of West Indian thing where they say the real love. So I put, or a French thing you could say as well, French, Jamaican, the real love.
I didn't know you were Jamaican. Just kidding.
Well, I mean, there's lots of influences. The beauty of growing up in London is you meet so many different people.
Oh yeah.
I mean, yeah. So, you get influences from different people. Anyway, have a lovely evening, gentlemen,
All right.
and ladies in the chat as well. Gentlemen and ladies in the chat, God bless you all, and have a lovely weekend. What's left of it, and remember to drink water and stay calm.
Yeah.
Stay hydrated, my friends.
Stay hydrated.
Yeah, that's all I do. Drink and drink and drink.
I'm about to take my iPad inside because I
Thanks
just
for
bought a
having us
bunch
on,
of fruit
Shadow.
I got to cut up for my wife.
Sorry, Chef. Thanks for having us on, Shadow. Have a nice evening, gentlemen. Good night.
Later.
You're very welcome. It's a pleasure.
I guess Bob only hopped on for a short time there because I think he hopped on right when I was going outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the heat, just like you. You live in the north. Everybody's like, where do you want to move? You want to move to Florida? I was like, no, I want to move to Maine. I lived up there for a long time, and I just love it. I don't care about the snow. Snow doesn't bother me. If it snows that much, I just stay home.
Okay, Emily, no problem. Thanks for stopping by the way. I appreciate it.
It's a Saturday. Everybody's got stuff going on now. In the U, because right now it's 4:45 p.m. in the U.S. here. Well, I'm on the East Coast, so it's even earlier. For Bob, it was about noontime.
Yeah.
So for you, it's like, what are you at over there right now? Like 10:30 at night or 10:45 or something? PM?
No, yeah, 10:46 p.m.
Yeah. Okay. Oh crap! Here it comes.
This year.
Well, you knew that was you knew when it was coming.
Yeah, I
You
know.
knew I was coming.
Like the mess with you. Hey, I beat you to all the punches on the yesterday when he put this thing up there and on the that this is the upcoming show, and I was rolling on the it's gonna be a hot topic, all that stuff. I'm like, oh, CR is gonna be mad because I'm taking all his jokes away.
No. I was just sharing the heat.
Yeah, and then next week we will have 30 degrees Celsius again.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at about a couple hours ago. It's like 85 to 90 here.
Yeah.
What do you got up there right now, CR? Like 70 or not 70? Are you looking at like 20 degrees?
Actually, it's raining.
Okay.
Oh wow! Okay. You got the heat
Take a
wave
look
going.
at
I
that
know.
later, Susan.
I'm trying to get into the mood of this, but I'm like, it's like that's all I can say in the whole this whole stream. Water. That's like
Water.
pretty much.
Get it? Get you.
Pretty
Yeah.
much. No, pretty much right.
Hey, Sassy, good to see you, man.
Hi, Sassy. No, water's gonna be the most important thing.
Yeah, Linda.
You probably won't have enough.
Scary.
No, you can almost never have enough water.
Yeah.
All right, I'm taking you guys inside with me. It's raining harder now. I know my dog will probably be quiet.
And here's the thing: we have the fans on full speed all day. The room temperature in my apartment is on 30 degrees Celsius. So if I would not use the fans, the temperature would definitely be around 37, 38 degrees Celsius in the apartment. You cannot be inside. You cannot go outside. Too hot.
You don't have air conditioning?
No,
Alrighty.
not in our apartments are not don't build in AC in this. They don't.
Right. Well, the climate you're in, like when we lived up in Maine, nobody had air conditioners. So summertime, you get about a week where it'd be in the 80s, maybe a 90-degree day. And you just open the windows, turn the fans on, and then it would cool back down again. But down where I'm at now we got central air, and my house year-round is perpetually, 68 degrees, whatever that is. CR can do the math on that. But 68 degrees Fahrenheit, which is nice and cool. 72 is average room temperature, but we like it colder. We both, fortunately, my wife and I both hate the heat.
18, 19 Celsius, probably.
Yeah, the normal room temperature should be 21 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, I think that's like room temperature, whatever, 73 degrees or 2. I can tolerate that, but I prefer it colder.
Yeah. And that is what I think is really annoying is you take a shower and 2 minutes later you're sweating like the Niagara Falls again. And I do that for 24/7. That is so annoying.
I totally understand that.
See, your CB fired you again instead of Bob.
No.
Sorry, somebody had to do it, even though we have no reason. You know what? Just screw it. You're fired. All right.
All right.
I know you understand.
So yeah, the reason why I came up with this is because, like, I mean, for once it wasn't hot here, but I remember there were years. I'm like, well, usually it's not raining like this and cool like this, like it is today. Like I've had it like where it's much warmer out, right? Where it's actually like over 90 Fahrenheit. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, everything that PVU was saying earlier, yeah, it's pretty spot on.
CB says preemptive firing. You haven't even earned it yet.
Yeah, just in case he's not paying attention later when you say something, CB. She's just firing.
Yeah. Okay. I see.
I mean, I could call Bob and see if he can pop on quick if you want.
Yeah, he's probably in his at the coffee shop.
Yeah, he's enjoying the view of his little chickies.
Yeah. So next week we will have at least 3-4 days with 30 degrees Celsius. Oh man, that will be rough. Oh.
You need to get a friend with a swimming pool.
Yeah. Indoor swimming pool. Not outdoor swimming pool.
With air conditioning.
Yeah.
The grapes can be optional.
I have issues with the heat because my body cannot adapt to heat. It just cannot. Well, when to much lower temperature, my body can adapt to that, but not heat. Ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen.
It's all in the genealogy for that, because some people your whole gene pool, whatever, is from the Nordic area. So that's how the bodies have been conditioned to deal with it. Mine, I don't know where mine was conditioned, but it hates the heat too. So maybe it's my Canadian. Yes, CR. I'm related to pretty much 50% of the province of Newfoundland. So that's probably why I hate the heat.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe.
I don't think I've told too many people I'm related to Canada.
CB says, I had my thyroid removed so I don't regulate temps well.
That's
No.
good.
Yeah. Fill the bathtub up with a lot of ice cubes. That would be nice. And I can lay on top of it.
Yeah, I don't think I could go that far.
Yeah,
That
me too.
would be nice and cool. Or otherwise, I have to buy a Mr. Freeze suit. That would definitely keep me cool.
Well, at least you would keep a cool head. So that's what counts, right?
You're pushing it again.
I was pushing it earlier.
No, this is true.
I said it twice, like earlier. Oh.
CB says, I think temperatures will do a lot of people in during SHTF. Yeah, definitely.
Well, it could, just thinking about it, it could just be one of those warmer kind of weeks. Where the temperature is like kind of on the warmer side. It's sunny, but something else happens. It kind of compounds it to a certain degree.
Yeah, I think temperatures in either direction will mess people up and shit and crap at the fan, because if it's too hot out, they need more water. If it's too cold out, they need to find a source of heat.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it goes both ways there. Ace will have from Monday to Wednesday 42.2 degrees Celsius, 108 Fahrenheit. Yeah. Don't go out.
Nope.
Or otherwise you will be in pile of ash and somebody has to sweep you up.
Yeah, we had a couple 100+ degrees here, I think about 4 weeks ago or so, and it was just brutal.
Yeah, CB, you have a point there. I know how some people get grumpy when they get hot. Can you imagine if the grid was down and there is no water for showers and stuff? Bunch of grumpy people. Yeah. and I am one of them who get grumpy and cranky when it's hot.
No, not your wife. Don't talk about her like that. Yeah, my wife's the same way, and so am I. When it's hot outside, we barely talk.
So, Shadow, I was gonna say, ironically, I've been in places where like even the rain still feels hot to a certain degree, right? I mean, I don't live there right now, obviously, but I've been to places before where it's been humid too, right? It's just like, yeah, I know that kind of there's a difference, all right, from that dry heat, and you just go into something that's like, because you look at the temperature, it's like, but if it's really, really humid, then it's like, yeah.
I know exactly what you mean. It could be hot out and it starts to rain. It sort of feels good if the breeze is blowing at the same time, but at the same time, even the water coming out of the sky is just not cooling, and it just makes your life even more miserable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
doesn't hurt.
Is one good thing about the Alpine area. Usually it can be really hot in summer, but as soon as the sun drops behind the horizon, it suddenly gets cold. Not every day, but quite often. It is good because at least you in the house get to cool down overnight. DB says, Shadow's wife is an angel, okay? Well, she's.
Unless it's too hot outside, then she might become Satan.
Well, even the temperature we have now, even those is too hot for her. And that is bad because my wife like the heat, but not this much. AC would be really nice to have. Maximum coolness.
I'm making up little fruit containers for my wife. A little bit of cantaloupe, some fresh blueberries, and put them in little containers. Put them in a fridge. She can just take them to work, and that's what she cools off with.
Well, something like that, it's nice. It's warmer out. Much warmer out. I always try to plan that in somehow. I'll be like, oh, this is a good time to have this. Like, whatever, like fruit or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I would treat a heat wave. Like, obviously, I don't get many here, but obviously, I've also seen 98 Fahrenheit, so technically now, so I guess it can't get hot enough here. So that's why I wanted to bring this up to you, Shadow.
Yeah.
Like I said that earlier, right? Because this is like typically normal for me to see some rain, but
Yeah.
during that other time, it was like dry. Like even the clouds wouldn't even do anything. It'd be like that dry lightning you see in the sky, but nothing comes up from the sky, and that's it, right? A bunch of heat, right? So, but one thing did help. That's storage of water. So that's why I keep saying about the water, right? Because it's just like with water you can still get by.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's self-explanatory, heat, water, but so if it's supposed to like raining right beforehand, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
CB says, I think a lot of people are not familiar with how fast food goes bad when it's hot. Yeah.
Real fast.
Yeah, it goes bad really fast. Especially if it's hot and humid, it goes even faster.
Well, yeah, you're pretty much accelerating everything.
Yeah, more or less, yes.
So, let me ask both of you something here. So, I think everyone can agree that water is probably the most important thing, but like, what are your guys' thoughts on like what would be the second most important?
Wait, what was the question? Water's the most
You
important
guys
thing,
can hear me, right? You guys can hear me, right?
I stepped about 4 feet away from my speaker. I didn't hear what you said.
Okay, so we all can agree that water would be the most important thing, right? So that'd be
Yeah.
first. But what would be
Oxygen,
your
yes.
second pick? Second pick. Like kind of like if you just kind of thought about, okay, after water, what would be the next most important thing?
Well, food.
Like just overall,
Shelter.
if you were just thinking like, factoring short term, long term, and all this other stuff, like, what would be the second more important thing?
Well, if you use the rule of threes, you got 3 minutes without oxygen, 3 days without water, and 3 weeks without food. Yeah, I mean, besides that, shelter. I don't know what direction you're going with that one with, so that's about the best I can do for an answer.
Because like, if you were just thinking about this, right? If you were trying to be more proactive, it's like, yeah, okay, the water would be self-explanatory, and obviously, maybe if you want to run fans, I don't know, because like I know preparedness veteran was saying about the fans earlier, and like, yeah, I got a few of those too. I mean, they help to a certain degree, it depends, but because I was thinking of like, what'd be the second most important thing
besides water?
Well, because obviously water would be on the top of the list, but it'd just be like, okay, number 2 kind of deal.
Food.
Yeah.
I'm really not going to change my answers much on this. I mean, in order of
water,
things
food,
to get your act
okay,
together.
let's just say you had some food, like if you're trying to get through this heat wave, right? You'd be like, okay, I need more water. Okay, kind of deal it. Let's just say you were like even planning ahead or just planning ahead, and just kind of.
Okay, so if we're just talking about like heat wave related stuff and water being, yes, the most important thing.
Yeah. Let's just say you're coming into this or like you're about to come into it.
Okay, I mean, aside from water, plain water is great. It'll hydrate you, but without the electrolytes and stuff. So some kind of simple sugars in that, natural stuff, maybe some fruit, something to help keep your body not just hydrated, but also the energy you need. Because water gives you zero energy. Has 0 calories, 0 carbs, 0 everything, but your body's made up of 98% of it, so you need it.
Mm-hmm.
But on top of that, you need some of the nutritional stuff to go with it. So I'd say if you get your hands on like fresh fruit and that you don't need to refrigerate if it's fresh. If you have your own fruit.
Hey, Crooked Peach, good to see you, man.
But you can do, if you have like apples and stuff that you can just leave on a counter. And you're good for, a week or 2 without having to refrigerate them or clean them or cut them up or throw them out because of the flies. But yeah, some kind of hydrating vegetable or fruit and maybe something to mix with your water, some kind of, and we were talking about that way earlier about the electrolyte powder, like Gatorade type stuff, but not actually Gatorade. So you need sodium. I mean, the body is electric. And yes, we do need salt, sodium, period.
Yeah.
A 0 salt diet will kill you. Contrary to doctors and stuff that say, oh, you have to go on a low sodium diet because of your blood pressure. It's like, okay, if I have no sodium, my brain neurons don't fire well anymore.
Which you can't get by with food. Just to say, I'll just say that. Just
what's that?
Well, you can obviously get salt from food too, right? For what it is.
Some, unless it's added.
No. But what I'm saying is like, so just seeing it like kind of like you were saying, the next thing you brought up was food right away, right? Well, yeah, to a certain degree, then
sure.
Electrolytes.
Yeah, there you go. Crooked Peach. There you go, Crook. Yeah. Cucumber water. That's great. Good flavor. A little extra nutrition in there. And whatever else you feel like adding to it. I mean, the last thing you want to drink in when you're really hot is a dairy product. Because that'll mess your stomach up. Not because it's a bad dairy, but because it's not going to help hydrate you well, and your stomach has a problem absorbing the water out of the dairy. I mean, I've drank big glass of cold milk when I was young. I come inside, I'm sweating. It's like 100 degrees outside. I've been playing all day. I come inside, go right for the gallon of milk, and my mom would rip that thing out of my hand so fast, and she'd tell me flat out, you drink 2 glasses of water first, I'll let you have some milk. Because I would drink milk, and within 5 minutes, I was in the bathroom throwing up. So, and it was more of a money thing, too. She didn't want to waste the money on the milk that I was just going to literally put down the toilet 10 seconds later, still cold.
Where'd the milk go? Down the
where'd the milk go? I flushed it, Mom. It was still cold, though. But, yeah, I mean, so, yeah, water and something to just give your body some energy and nutrition in that.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, yeah, food, shelter, stuff like that. Obviously, you need shelter to stay out of the direct sun.
Well, yeah. Well, kind of just to go on the preparedness path, like, and planning your activities whenever possible. whenever possible.
Yeah.
Whenever possible. All right. I know preparedness veterans said this earlier. And kind of go down this road, right, of it. Because if you consider things, right, rescheduling something for, like, for the following week or something, or on the weekend or something like that when it's not so hot or whatever, right, and stuff like that, whenever possible. But it's kind of hard. And realizing, like, maybe it's time to do something more, or what I call pull out all the stops. Especially if it's like that hot. Better to be doing something than complaining all the time.
Now, I don't know how active you want to be when it's that hot.
No. Of course, I'm not saying being active, but what I'm saying is, like, you decide to make, like, I'll give this analogy, like you're camping or something like that, and it's gonna get hot, so you spend time in the morning, or setting up more shade, so you don't have to do it when it's much hotter out. For example, yeah. And you utilizing that kind of. Realizing, like, what you're doing and when you're doing it too. Right? Do I actually have to do this, like, in the middle of the day, like at 2:00 in the afternoon, and it's bright and, like, sunny outside? Yeah. Because, like, sitting in the shade is like a no-brainer or whatever for everyone, but sometimes you got to remember what you're doing when you're doing it at times. Sometimes it's better just to do it 2 hours before, so you don't have to sweat it later. 2 hours later.
You don't want to overexert yourself when you're trying to conserve your coolness. So you don't want to make yourself sweat.
Well, it's just like walking the dog or walking a dog. I'll see that. It's like, it'll be hotter out. I'll be like, yep. It's because they're planning around that.
Yeah. I
talk to people and they'll either wait till, like, way closer to sunset, or, like, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, something like that.
Welcome to the Aquatic News Network. Good to see you.
One thing I tried to do is, like, I'll try to walk into a more natural area, like, so you cover it and such.
Well, hold on, my sister's texting me for recipes again.
Mm-hmm. All right. And yeah, you know what I mean, Shadow? Like, sometimes you're just gonna, like, how do I say? Know when to sit down. Know when to do something. Again. What's going on? Hold on one sec. I'll be right back.
Okay, CR. No problem.
Well, look at that. We all keep bailing on you. It's like, oh, I'll be right back. We're just going to sit here quietly for the next 20 minutes on the stream.
Yeah.
Love my sister. She's like, I forget how to do this. I got to send her another recipe on how to make something, the simple stuff, which is great. She loves it. I love it. She knows I love it. That's why she texts me.
Yeah.
And it's too hot outside to do anything, so I'm inside just prepping stuff up, little fruit bowls for my wife. I'm going to make some chicken pasta salad and stuff for me for the lunch, because I started last Monday. I started working from home. So I don't have to get in a van anymore and drive around for all day long, 5, 6, 7 days a week. And nope. So now I can actually make my own food, eat my good food, and probably lose weight, because years of driving around all the restaurants I dealt with, everybody fed. I was just eating crap all the time.
Yeah.
I think 18 years, I probably gained about 50 pounds. So
probably.
I'm working on them now. It's like, okay, time to start getting rid of that. But sitting on my butt all day, so I'm going to have to get one of those little stair stepper machines, and just to get some exercise, because I'm not getting any exercise sitting in a chair talking on a set of headphones all day long. But that's next.
Yeah. That is the advantage. When you're working from home, you can control your diet better.
Oh yeah. I'm not enticed into going, that looks really good, and I'm hungry. I think I'll get that to eat, and it's crap, but it tastes really good.
Usually it tastes good.
Can't
Yeah, it tastes good because they sell more of it. They want you to eat more. That's why they make it good.
Yeah,
It is not the best food, but
nah. And I crack up every convenience store I would go into.
You guys,
People were walking out of there with their big slushies and all this sugar soda stuff in these giant cups. I'm like, for what you just paid for that 32 ounce or whatever liter of frozen sugar stuff, I literally buy a case of water and a bag of ice and throw it in my truck. I always just drank water all day long. And now that I'm home, I'm actually not, which is proven to be its own difficult thing in the morning, but whatever. I'm figuring that one out real quick.
welcome back, Sierra.
I know you guys are talking about food as soon as I get back.
No, well, I was talking about me gaining weight with food, so.
Oh, I see.
And now I'm working.
I see.
So I'm not eating all this garbage.
I didn't miss much.
No.
But yeah. Well, having some, when possible, right, with food, I guess, like, because also you don't want to eat too heavy, I don't want to eat a hot soup when it's really, really hot out. Probably not. So, I've been thinking of ways of just having even a cool snack.
Yeah.
Something where you can maintain your energy, but you're not gonna be sweating right afterwards. Like all the water that was in it.
I usually
And then
eat
some.
something cold when it's hot because I can't eat warm food. I can't.
So yeah, that's always the tricky part, though, because obviously when you have a fridge and a freezer or whatever, right? Yeah, but during the heat wave, because the nature of people using a bunch of AC and such and fans, right? With power, so sometimes it can be very tricky.
Okay, Wanda, no problem. Thanks for stopping by.
They said if you're outside in the heat with no way to cool off except for water, you kind of need something else. Like we were talking, like CR asked me, some kind of a fruit, which gives you a little flavor. It's not going to fill you up too much, and but it's good for you too. And it's sort of cooling because there's a lot of moisture in it. Hopefully,
yeah. Because I know sometimes I'll do something like that, especially if I'm gonna be at it for a bit, especially outside. Because unfortunately, sometimes you have to be doing it at 2:00 in the afternoon. You don't want to, but
right?
It has to be done, right? So, because one thing when I see for the same reason why I don't care what people wear in the winter as long as they're warm. I don't care during the summer. If you think it's hot enough, then do it. If it helps you, okay. If it's something like water, okay, right? That's how I see it, right? Because because you're the person going through doing this task or whatever, right? So it doesn't if you feel the need to you use a wet rag or a towel or whatever, right? You want to, take a 5 minute, but you're pushing hard for the next 40 minutes, something like that. Always remembering sometimes you gotta take a break too, and if you want to get it sort of done, teamwork and like making sure everyone's drinking water, for example.
Well, if you're in a crap hit the fan situation and you need to get stuff done, yeah, you kind of don't want to do that in the middle of the day in the blazing hot sun when your supplies are limited. So that's where you take a break. You work early in the morning and later in, in the afternoon when the temperatures cool down, the sun is not direct down, and take a break in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, and stuff like that whenever possible, right? Because it's just like, because all the time I think these things happen because like you're still doing stuff during the afternoon, or like you're doing something you normally do, like gardening or something like that, right? And you're just kind of like, you don't realize that it's like, for whatever reason, that you're warming up quite fast.
Okay, Crooked Peach. No problem. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it.
Because it doesn't take that long, especially if if things are like against you. You haven't drank water for the last little bit. You just whatever, right? You're not in the shade. There's no wind. The humidity's high, right? Factors like that can contribute to something in time.
Hey, CR, is it raining by you?
Yeah, it sounds like
Yeah.
that.
I thought I said that earlier. It was raining.
No,
I wasn't kidding.
I don't know. It was
I wasn't. This is why it's like so. I'm like trying to like think of like something to say, but see and here is like rain. I'm like, I'm trying to think of it, and I'm like, all I can think of is water. Besides water, like yeah.
It's either that or you're frying bacon.
No.
Yeah, I agree.
It's
it
water.
Sounds like
It's water. It's not. No, but even something like cooking or whatever, right? I mean, like if you can barbecue, when possible, barbecue outside, or like cook it early or much later in the day, whenever possible.
Yeah, I like to do most of my cooking in the summertime. Yeah, outside. I don't need to make my air conditioner work harder. And yeah, I don't want the heat in the house either. So
yeah, even for that reason alone, right? Whenever possible, or like, you try to adjust to eating at a slightly different time, earlier or later.
Yeah, and when it's hot out, you're better off eating a little earlier in the evening, because if you eat too late and go to sleep, that's not good for your body. But it also gives your body a chance to digest and you get that energy ready for your nighttime sleep. Whether it's hot or not, you still need energy.
Yeah,
I agree.
Exactly. Yeah, you still have to do stuff. But yeah, like if you're like gonna have a sip of water right after, it's one thing. But if you're forced to eat something hot and it's hot out and you don't have much water left, I'd probably just let it cool down or have it cold.
Yeah.
Oh, you missed it earlier, CR, because I was complaining about how hot it was outside, and what am I making inside in the oven? Pizza. I just wanted pizza for lunch. Of course, it's 90 degrees outside or 30 Celsius, and I got a 400-degree pizza coming at me, and I'm eating that outside, sweating the whole time, but it was good.
Well, I mean, something like that's not as bad as like, let's just say if you're like eating like a hot potato, for example.
Right.
If you're eating a hot potato, yeah, that'd be different, I think. In my opinion.
My wife grilled.
I mean, the pizza will still be warm, but the potato will still be hot.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, like my wife.
That's what I mean, like that. Like I would avoid foods like that. I wouldn't be eating hot stuffed potato, probably.
I agree, Susan.
So my wife grilled a bunch of chicken the other day, like chicken tenders, like a whole bunch. And yeah, I'll heat them up in the evening and have that for dinner. Or now, whatever's left. Oh no, I'm chopping it up cold, making a chicken pasta salad out of it.
Yeah, you'll make a salad instead. Yeah.
Yep. Make it cold, not hot.
Well, so even something just simple things like that, doing that in advance when possible. Well, because the thing is, it would also chime in if there is like some sort of power outage due to this metaphoric heat we're talking about, like this kind of scenario. It's quite possible for that to happen, right? So you'd be like eating that kind of thing that goes bad first, I guess, right? You know, the fresh veggie stuff, right?
Yeah.
You know, yeah. Well, because if you think about it, right, that'd be the first thing. So like, you just eating during that time, anyways. You just setting yourself up to like, okay, next thing. And hopefully the power will come back before the heat wave subsides.
And you don't want to eat heavy foods, you know, like hot, thick sauces and stuff like that, and a lot of starch. And when you're hot out, you want to keep it light and cool so your body can digest it, and it doesn't just sit there and make you miserable.
Yeah. Yeah, because I've been in different places in the world too. Not as much as PV, but some of the places, you know, the locals would say, you know, it'd still be sunny outside. It's like they'll be like, oh, we'll get something to eat at 7, 8, right? Like local time, but in the evening, right? So when it's not quite as hot, well, relatively speaking, right, and stuff like that. You know, how they would cope with it, right?
Yeah.
Well, because like Bob said earlier, you know, you would just put up with it, or at least, you know, complain less about it.
Well, you can just suck it up and deal with it, but you're still going to have to deal with it one way or another.
Yeah. So.
Now, don't mind that noise. That's the sound of celery being chopped up.
Well, you know.
Don't worry, CR. I'll cook some bacon and throw it in here too.
Oh, nice. Very nice of you. Can consider how I feel about that. Thanks.
Actually, I think I have some cooked bacon in the fridge right now, so I'm just gonna chop it up and throw it in there.
What happened to this bacon I had on the side? Oh, I used it. Sorry.
Oh, my wife doesn't care. If something goes missing out of the fridge, she knows it got eaten by me, and she'll just tell us, she's like, "Well, make more." Okay, no problem.
So yeah, I think, like I said earlier to you guys, that water, hands down. And probably if you can gather it beforehand, it'll help a lot better too. It can be much harder to find water when there's like a heat wave, or when it's like kind of like, how do I say, over there but not over here. You have to go get it.
What are you talking about? Like water?
Yeah. Well, because like if you think about it, like if you gather it beforehand or whatever, right, then you'll have enough, right? But if there's not enough and people are using more, then you'll be like trying to find a needle in a haystack. If you know, if it was like much more serious.
Sorry, I'm walking back and forth to my refrigerator there.
No problem. The Aquatic News Network says,
I'm trying to talk about
at this point, I could probably survive in the desert longer than most people could imagine. Probably.
Probably.
Speaking
I mean,
of which, to go. Okay, no problem, Susan. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it.
But yeah. Learn from the locals.
I agree, CB. Thank you, Susan.
So, Shadow, you said it's supposed to be 30 there for the next couple days?
Yeah, next week.
So, yeah.
Tomorrow it will be 29. It will be 30 degrees tomorrow. Monday it will be 29. Tuesday 30 degrees.
I keep thinking of those temperatures in Fahrenheit going, oh, hell yeah, it'll snow at 30 degrees Fahrenheit.
But you're talking to us, Mark. So he's like,
I know.
No.
That's why right now I'm having an issue doing the math, because when I'm sitting outside, I can literally look at my outdoor thermometer and it shows Celsius and Fahrenheit. So I can be like, yeah, it's about 28 right now. Because, the American system, lovely as it is, it's terrible. But we grew up on it. That's what we're used to.
Good point, CB.
See, last year at this time, I remember that it was like much, much warmer out. It is probably 30 Celsius too, or more. It was days and days of it. I think, the longer a heat wave goes, the probably more serious it gets, I guess. To a certain degree, right? Because the continuous onslaught of heat, right? Because, the water supply would go down to a certain degree, I guess. Everyone's water supply would go down to a certain degree, right? And people are trying, if possible, still trying to power stuff with an AC or whatever, but that's if the power is finding. So if you think about it, like, the time too, right? Because, like, I guess it goes with anything, but the longer it goes for. Because usually these heat waves at times, it's like much longer, like, or you start noticing it a lot more for most people when it's like 3 days or more. Maybe even as low as like 1 or 2 days. Especially if you're trying to get used to it, right? Like, you could see, it's in the forecast, it's expected or whatever, right? And then it turns into like, oh, it'll be over in a couple days. Turns into like an extra couple. It's just like, it's gonna linger a little bit longer this time around, for example, right? Because, like, earlier this year, I've already seen 90 Fahrenheit, 32 Celsius there, right? I actually haven't seen it this month. Usually it would be like it, right? So I'm just kind of getting more in the rain this time around, but last year, it's kind of like that temperature for a bit. It's, and I was camping during that time, right? So it's just like, best friend was the water.
Yeah. I never
Literally,
liked camping in the summertime, Boy Scout camp, all that. Yeah, I was young. I could kind of suck it up and deal with it. It was either you cuddle up in your sleeping bag and sweat, or you don't and you get eaten alive by mosquitoes. We wound up just sweating all night long. And then first thing in the morning, run down to the lake, hop in, cool off, go take a shower, which we didn't have hot water either. So that was fine. Go eat and then do your daily Boy Scout things, and in the evening, right back to the lake again.
Yeah, and like I said, water was my best friend. Like, not just for drinking, but for just like kind of general. Yeah. Well, it could be sanitation in order to just like, cool off too, I guess, right? I guess if you're washing your hands, right, your hands are not gonna cool off. All right, so like that's what I was saying earlier about like trying to like use the water for more than one use if possible, right? I'm the, I just wash my hands with this water, but I'm gonna use them to like put my feet into because it's hot out. That kind of like using the water.
I agree, CB.
Because I imagine if it is an actual heat wave, right, and then there's other things that are compounded in, if they happen, right, yeah, I'm probably having to use the water really, really well, get more out of it when possible. Isn't that usually how it goes sometimes? Like sometimes it'll just be like there'll be water restrictions or like some sort of like don't water grass on this date or whatever. Something like that.
No, they do that on the East Coast. They do it all over the States all the time.
Okay.
You got a heat wave, and now we're in a drought watch, and then a drought warning, drought this. It's like, okay, well, yeah, but meanwhile, all the big corporations and golf courses and that,
Yeah.
oh no, they're out watering their grass because they just pay extra. They'll pay the fine. There is no fine. They just use the water because they need to keep that business looking pretty. And meanwhile, our stuff is dying, and then somebody drops a cigarette on your front lawn, and it turns into an inferno. But that's okay. And you can't use your hose to put the fire out. Well, they haven't gotten that far yet.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So that's why I'm like I'll take the time to gather rainwater, so like in the sun and such, I can use it. Just like I know it doesn't get hot here, but the thing is, I know it can be quite sunny out and quite warm out for a significant amount of time, right? Like,
yeah,
because it's a dry heat air, right? It's not, totally different, right? Obviously, I know that, but but for your area, right? Or when we're talking about the heat, we're talking about for your own specific area, how you're used to it or not used to it or don't like it or whatever, right? Because we all have our tolerances, heat and cold. We're just talking about heat specifically this time, right? Like eventually in time, like so much of that happen. You're gonna lose your cool, and you're gonna be like, oh, I need water, and stuff like that, or won't even notice it, right? Right? Because there's only a certain threshold that most of us have before we start being like, oh yeah, I need water, I need a fan, I need like, because you're overheating or whatever, right? And understanding like when you go through stuff, like, because I noticed how fast you can really get heat exhaustion quite fast, especially if things are working towards that against you, right? Because I walked this dark paved road this one time. I was just like, I was just because I told people where I was going, right, so they knew, but everything's good. But when I kind of did this, I'm just like, this is kind of what they say. Oh, this is that kind of slightly nauseous feeling, maybe not all the way there.
Yeah.
Kind of deal, right? And you're just like, and stuff like that. I mean, also, I realized during that situation, I'm like, yeah, I'm clearly not drinking enough water, but I'm just like, oh yeah, that's what they mean.
Yeah, I learned
this is just the the beginning stage, right? I think it just gets worse after that, right? And so now I know, just personally, just by experiencing that, just even briefly, And, okay, if I come to that state, I'll remember that it's just like this other time. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm probably not be like not thinking straight.
Yeah, I learned the hard way a long time ago when I was about 20, 21 years old. It was dead summer, and it was like probably 95 degrees out. I'm in our garage, which was a separate building. I had both doors open. I had a fan going, and I was pulling the engine out of my car. And I was out there for a good 4 or 5 hours, and I'm sweating and sweating and sweating. And as I'm laying on the ground underneath the car, undoing some bolts, I realized, wait a minute, I'm not sweating anymore. This can't be good. So I went in the house, and I actually felt cold, which is really weird. I went in the house, and my mom took one look at me. She's like, you haven't been drinking anything today, have you? I was like, well, and I could barely talk. And she's like, go sit down. I went for the cold water. She's like, no. She gave me a couple glasses of just room temperature water and said, just sip on it slowly. Don't chug it all down. You'll puke. So I just let it sip. I sipped it and sipped it. My tongue came back to normal. Everything came back to normal. And then I passed out. I was out cold for probably another 6-7 hours because I had dehydrated so bad. I mean, I was probably on the verge of heat stroke. And I was in heat exhaustion or heat whatever, dehydrated. Yeah. And I'll never forget that. So now it's like I'm outside doing stuff. Either that bottle of water, I just have water always ready nearby. Or if I don't, as soon as I realize, okay, it's been a little while here and I know I'm sweating, I'm still sweating, let me go find some water. Because as soon as you stop sweating, that's the onset. And that means your body doesn't have enough water left in it to cool you off. It's trying to conserve it to keep your body from dying. So, because, and your blood gets thick and stuff like that, you get headaches, migraines, and then you could have if you have other pre-existing conditions, that just makes it worse. So definitely everyone always says, hydrate. Yeah, they're not kidding. They're messing with you, but no, literally, just drink water. If your body doesn't need it, you're just going to be going to the bathroom a couple times. And if you're not going to the bathroom and you're drinking water, you're probably not drinking enough water.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, knowing like how that is, like once you go for it, it's just like, it's a sobering reminder.
You don't ever want to do that again.
Yeah, because that kind of hurt a little. That kind of, my head hurt. Or like you'll remember it, like when you. And sometimes you're just pushing really, really hard, right?
Yeah, it's like, I'll get water.
You skip going.
I gotta keep doing this. Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't have some water this morning. You went to work. You just, or something like that. Oh, it's getting hotter out. Okay, you start drinking some water, but it's maybe not enough. Compared to like the water you've already lost earlier. Stuff like that, and you're just like realizing that, you're conserving the water too much. Or rationing it a little too much. Sometimes the best, canteen or whatever is in your system.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't stay there like a closed loop.
No, of course.
Yeah. Even in the wintertime, I mean, you go out and you shovel snow and you're wearing a coat. You're sweating underneath. You will dehydrate in cold weather. You can dehydrate in any weather.
Yeah.
Of course, maybe, okay, I'm going to do a CR joke. Maybe in the wintertime, I'm not dehydrating, I'm freeze drying.
Yeah.
All right, CR.
I'll let you have that one. I'll let you coin that one. Because you just said.
All right. It's so cold out today, I'm freeze dried.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll We'll talk about that during the winter theme of this, from the heat to the cold. But yes, I know from you, like when I went this camping, it was hotter out, right? Like I said, I knew shelter was the view. I mean, there was a breeze, and I have some water, right? But the shelter components keep working for you. You can be sitting, right? You know what I mean? Like you can be sitting and stewing. If you made shade, well, if you're sitting afterwards, now you can sit in the shade. and the shade's gonna help you do something, right? Whatever it is, to a certain degree, right? Especially if you got water or whatever, you know, you can, you know, handle it a little bit better compared to, you know, just under the sun the whole time with no hat, no nothing.
Yeah.
Right. In time, you know, it's just not bake you.
Thanks, CP.
Right. So
I don't think CR is going to fire me. Although I'm sure the thought crossed his mind. I was kind of waiting for it. Mark, you're fired.
ding ding. Correct. But if you think about it, right? Like during the cold, right? You bundle up, right, with clothes or whatever, and you start to stay warm, right? Well, during the heat wave, it's like almost. It's not quite the opposite, but like you still, you know, you need the water, but you know, you need to be like, what's it called? Avoiding the sun whenever possible, right? You like cooking, like not inside if you don't have to, right, and stuff like that whenever possible, right? You know, having the water, you know, in the fridge or whatever on standby or something like that, you know. Shadow, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
So, I'm assuming you got like a bunch of water in the fridge right now, or cold water in the fridge. I'm assuming.
At the moment, I
I'm
don't
assuming you're
have
getting
any
a lot of that.
water in the fridge at the moment. I just take the water straight from the tap and.
Or either one.
What's that? I thought you asked me a question. Sorry, I think my microphone, when I walk away from this iPad, you probably can't hear me too well.
Well, the reason I ask is I know sometimes, not all the time, but more often during the summertime, anyways. Because, like, you know, you probably do need more water during the summertime. Probably, right? In a given amount of time. So
Yeah.
I know sometimes I'll put like water in a glass bottle, and I'll put it in the fridge. Especially, let's say if I'm working outside or whatever, right? And I'll be like, oh, I gotta do it during the midday, or it's, you know, or whatever, right? Being able to come back inside to get something like that. Well, because you planned it ahead, right? Just that kind of like subtle, like you're planning it ahead, so like you already got something ready for you, like, you know what I mean, like. So if it's like really, really hot out, right? You know, just coming back into a room that's cooler, but you know, you can have something cold to drink, so to speak, right? You get your like head back into space. Or it could be like, you know, a wet rag or a towel or whatever that kind of thing that kind of brings you back from, like, you know, even if it is just a sip of water with some salt and sugar in it. All right. It might just bring you back into this kind of, right. Because I remember like just this walk that I did, and it just like when I experienced this mild sense of heat exhaustion. I was just like, as soon as I had somebody with electrolyte, I'm just like, it's like I could feel that kind of like, ooh, you know, that kind of like, you get some bounce back into you again. Kind of like it kind of wakes you up, like like almost like coffee can, or like where it wakes you up. That is like, but that feeling because you're getting electrolyte back in you. Yes, I remember that after
Good
being in the heat for a
point.
bit, and so.
Well, I think it's time to wrap things up.
Yeah, I'm still down. Now I'm down in my basement digging into some of my stocks here to find some white beans, pinto beans, stuff to add to my chicken salad. That's not meat. I'm always cooking something, CR. Sorry.
Yeah.
And that's why I call you the bacon guy now. I always have acronyms or nicknames for people. Helps me remember them. Helps me remember them. So you gotta close the show right now?
Thank you, Ace, for stopping by. I appreciate it. Yeah, I think I wrap things up now. It begins to be pretty annoying with this heat, and I'm sweating like the Niagara Falls. I have done that 24/7, so
yeah,
it begins to be pretty rough and tough. So I think it's a good idea to wrap things up now. So,
all right. Well, thanks for having us on again. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to have you guys on.
It was a really cool time, right, CR?
Well, it was a hot topic.
That's right. It is. And it was done in the heat of the moment. See, we can go on with this for the next 20 minutes, but we're not gonna.
Yeah, I need to cool down.
So, all right, I'm gonna pop off then. You guys have a great weekend, what's left of it, and a great week. I'll see you next week.
Yeah,
see you, everyone.
Will do.
Take care.
Take care. Thank you guys for stopping by. I appreciate it. And
anytime.
Don't forget, be part of the solution, not the problem. Stay safe. Take care. God bless. And we are probably out in a couple of seconds.